be an indie means we buck a system that doesn't want us. To be a fringe filmmaker means we don't do it for them. We do it for ourselves. To be an outlaw on the fringe means we'll die before we fail. Be an outlaw.
Welcome to another episode of Romero Pictures Heavy Metal Indie Brigade. What is the one thing Joe does not want to get a picture of right before a broadcast from George? That little picture right there. Don't worry, folks, we're still going to have a show tonight. We're rearranging a couple of things, and our buddy Jason is going to be joining us as a guest host in just a couple of moments. We are very grateful for him. But yes, unfortunately, George got the screen of death, and you know they've been having some really crappy weather out there in his neck of the woods, and they were having power outages intermittently, and so we're getting there. Give us a few minutes, and Jason will be joining in a moment. And also, our awesome guest, JK, will be joining us in about 10 minutes or so. Really excited about that. Man, I haven't had to do this in like a few years, doing this whole hosting thing on my own. That's why I'm not even bringing my picture up yet. I don't want you guys seeing me sweat. So, let's see who we got out there. We got Ken. Ken, great to see you. Sean, Samantha. Gunny. Look who's here. I'm going to put Jason on the spot in just a second. And your mic is live, by the way, Jason. In case you're like not done cursing at me yet.
No, I love it, Joe. This is awesome. Super fun, good times, as always, at the Romero Picture Indie Brigade.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
So,
I used to have a beard about, let's see, when the fuck did you call me? That 8 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago? 15 minutes ago?
I had a beard. I was chopping a big old 70s bush beard, too. Like, we're not talking finely manicured. Like, there's nothing manscaped about this nightmare going on between here and here and here and here. No, massive fuck-all-apocalypse, like, just quarantine lead singer of Clutch beard. And I'm chopping all the stuff off my face. And then Joe calls. He's like, hey, what you doing?
I said it just like that, too.
Yeah. He's like, what you doing? Kind of like if it was back in 1987 and he had called me after 7 p.m. because that's when the rates went down. Ask your grandparents, kids. He called me after 7 when the rates went down. He's like, what you thinking about? And then we'd spend like 6 hours on the phone watching TV but not talking to each other because that's what you did.
While drinking Merlot.
Yeah, Merlot?
No, I kid.
So why am I here again, Joe? What's going on?
Well. So
Nature?
George reaches out to me approximately 20 minutes ago and sends me this lovely picture.
Why are there two sons? Where the fuck is he at, dude?
Somewhere.
That's not normal. That's not good. Holy shit, he was in the Mars rover. Now I'm pretty sure that has Wi-Fi. All right.
Right. So before we bring JK on, there's a little housekeeping we got to do as usual. So, Jason, do you have like a good commercial voice or no?
What kind of commercials are we talking about? Like downtown at the dirty bookstore commercials, or like chicken soup for the Crispin soul? Like which way are we swinging on the ontological spectrum here?
All right. So for those of you who send us requests trying to find out what program we use to broadcast, that would be StreamYard. We are powered by StreamYard. They have been very kind to us for the past year or so. So if you are thinking about broadcasting live on the interwebs, as some of you call it, check out StreamYard. Tell them Romero Pictures Indie Brigade sent you. George is cooking. And for those who missed Thursday night, getting all discombobulated now.
A little bit.
Romero Pictures Indie Brigade presents Drone Cav with Terry Jarrell. Make sure to go check that out on YouTube. Also, this weekend. Go, where is that? Bartow, Florida. See, I'm getting all mixed up again. Whew, getting a case of the vapors. No, I'm kidding. Bartow, Florida. There's a little con going on there. Our buddies Ed and Mike McKeever are going to be there. I think Terry's going to be there as well. And I don't know, some other guy's got this thing going on. I can't remember. Why don't I let you take over for a second?
I mean, like, all I asked for was, like, if there's 3 seconds of space, maybe a little plug. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, everyone and in between who doesn't want to be identified by a pronoun but just wants to be here and be happy. Movie maniacs and film fanatics. What this little picture is going on in the middle of the screen, I'll just reach around this way because that might be the best reach around I get on the internet tonight. And I keep putting this hand over here, expecting it to see on Joe's side. But that's not the way cameras work. Anyway, Kill Giggles. That was a little plug for a thing going on at the Mad Monster Party Film Festival, which is going to be in Concord, North Carolina. It's actually going on right now. If you go there, if you're in Concord, North Carolina, go to that place, and I'm sure you can find a bunch of your horror icons sitting socially distant, wearing masks, and just trying to have as much of a rock'em sock'em good time as you can in the middle of an apocalypse. However, my film that I had a lovely part to do with, Kill Giggles, is screening tomorrow night at 5 p.m. in the film festival program. Felissa Rose, who is one of the guests at Mad Monster Party, will hopefully also be there. We'll have a big Q&A afterwards, and we're going to have a prize for everyone who bothers to show up because it's going to be awesome, and it might be the best fun that we have on a Saturday night in the middle of the world going down in flames. So let's sing a song and send in the clowns to die. Thanks, Joe. That's all I wanted to do. I'm out of here.
That's okay. I'm going to leave now. It only takes 18 hours to get there.
He's like, I'm going to move. So, yeah.
See.
So, George, we really need to get George like a backup. I figured he would have doesn't he have 1,000 backup generators and like a whole sanctuary defense prep plan?
But what does the generator have to do with internet being out? The generator will give you power. It will not give you internet or cable.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you can power
if the cable and internet's out,
cell phone charge, you turn it into a hotspot, then you use that as a Wi-Fi thing, and then you can boost the signal. Can't stop the signal, Joe.
Well, he may live in
go CB radio. Let's just go CB radio.
Well, he said he was going to get something for that, the ham radio. Absolutely. So
that's all. Let's think outside of the hi-fi box. Let's just go back to lo-fi. CB radio. Everyone can learn, like the kids will learn Morse code again. Be like, hey, it's not cursive, and they'll be like, that's a good point. And then they won't, and they'll pick up Morse code.
I shall be Skull Crusher.
Anyway, we got JK coming up tonight.
Damn, the crickets.
I know, right? Well,
tough audience.
It takes us a few minutes to get into our groove, Joe. You're crotchety. I mean, you're Waldorf. I'm Statler, dude. So it's like it takes us a few minutes to readjust, and then I'm like, yeah, it'll be okay. I no longer have a call sign. You got to reserve your call sign. I mean, it's the new domain name. I mean, that shit's going quick.
I mean, especially in the apocalypse. Come on.
I know, right?
All right, enough of you and I.
I know nobody what they're like, and I'm not.
Like, can you bring on JK? We're not here to see you guys. What the hell, man? Let's go with it.
Okay.
So,
do not readjust your pictures on your internet tubes. I look like this all the time. I'm sorry. I'm not George or Joe. My name does fit the alliterative rhyme scheme, though. I got the Jason going for me, so we got that. Too busy laughing at Skull Crusher. I know Skull Crusher, right? But it's got to be Skull Crusher. And he's got like the little fucking skull put onto the gear shift knob of like his I don't know, electric car Tesla or like what do grandpas drive, like a Subaru wagon? That would be
wow.
I used to have a Ford Escort wagon, like it was a 2001 Ford Escort LX station wagon.
Okay, but with the old jokes, you're older than I am.
I know, but nobody knows that because look how young I look now that I shave. I only look. Yeah,
I almost did the same thing today. I only did the sides. I got rid of the full beard thing going on. But because as a grandpa, you're not supposed to have full beards, apparently.
Yeah, well, you can have full beards. I think it has to be much more manicured. My thing was I had to spend I had to spend 9 hours in a hospital waiting room, and with a massive fuck all beard, I'm like, I hate my face and everything around it. So Yeah, it was just a mess. And then going to Mad Monster Party tomorrow, and everyone having to be safe, and everyone has to be masked up and stuff like that. So like we have to follow all the rules and stuff. So it was more for my comfort, and obviously now our viewers' discomfort. What?
Ty can't make it. I'm sorry, Ty.
Catch us on the CB radio. Ooh, that's cool.
Yes.
Come in.
All right, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to bring JK up, as long as he gives me a thumbs up, because I don't even know if he wants to be part of this shit show anymore.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, my internet went out. I went into a tunnel. Wah, wah.
Without further ado, I am going to bring JK up, and we're going to get acclimated just for like a second. And then I'm going to have him go through all the cool shit that he does, because it's just entirely too much for me to A, memorize, B, not look like an idiot reading off the side of a monitor like this.
You had time to bring it up on a monitor?
Damn it, Jason.
I know, right?
Anyway, Jay.
What's up?
I know that guy.
I know you know that guy. You look so different, my friend. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute. I looked different 20 minutes ago, and then I'm on the show now, and I'm like, pow! I'm like a fucking.
Oh, what's going on? How are you two doing? Good, bad, in between?
Well, I thought he was going to reply. You know how I feel about dead air. Dead air is like, no, that's not a thing here.
It's like dead air.
Long time, no dead air, no dead air. What's up, Ken and David?
Living the dream in the apocalypse.
Man,
Like all the other monkeys.
Yeah, right. You know.
They're here for him, not us, man.
I'm here for him.
Oh,
like I'm not even like I don't want to see me. No, and they're like, I mean, old Joe. They're like, I'm here for JK. I haven't seen him since like we run amok at. It had to be like a film festival.
Nightmares for the corner, and you were talking Kill Giggle at that
I was.
Yeah,
I wouldn't shut up about it for years.
And he still doesn't.
I still won't. I asked him to plug it on the show tonight. Now I'm the.
Oh, man.
Welcome, JK. I miss you. I miss
you too, dude. Miss you too. It's great to be on here, guys, and it's a shame George can't join us, but Jason, you are the man. So I am so happy to see your face again. And Joe, you are awesome. I give you the double thumbs up. Thank you so much, my friend, for having me on here. So what's going on?
Well, you have to tell all the people all the cool things you're affiliated with, because I'm a bad host. Jason's even a worse host. So
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Exactly. So with that being said, God, where to start? It's funny because between Jason and Christopher, and maybe a couple others on the comments I see here, and hello to everyone. There's people that I've conversed with, interviewed, and all that over the last decade with Horror Happens Radio, Joe. It's crazy to think that's almost a decade. And as I went ahead and realized it's coming up on a decade, do you know that almost 1,300 first-time guests and almost 1,600 interviews in probably a good 6-year period? And it just blows my mind looking at SoundCloud, how many people I've talked to and how we're all so connected with everything. So for those who don't know me, I am JK. I've been around this game for a good amount of time, faking my way through a lot of it and getting away with it, definitely. When it comes to it, I've done Horror Happens Radio for the last decade, and I've talked to so many people within the circles of horror, the dysfunctional family, across the board, all generations. And it's been a blast doing it. Currently, it used to be live 4 to 5 hours every week, but now it is strictly podcast format on SoundCloud. I staff writer for Horror Hound for many an issue now, covering a lot of the indie horror, which is very cool. A big thank you to everyone there. And you know what, Jay, before I get to Digging in Darkness, I just put out my first short film, official short film, and it got into Rock the Shorts because I went back to school at 43. I went back to film school, got in, and put out my first one. So I guess I fall into that filmmaking aspect now, but that is not why I'm here.
It's all downhill.
But you still have to drop the name of it, though. You forgot to drop the name of it.
Oh, Within the Frame. Within the Frame. Ha ha ha! My man, pots and pans. Look at that. It's Sarah Schiaffo. She is beautiful. What a talent. What a talent. Yes, this is the short film that I put out a student short film amongst COVID time, and it's called Within the Frame. It's based on the urban legend of the Polaroid Trail, which is a New Jersey urban legend about a pair of people walking through the woods. They walk into the woods, come across this field of Polaroids, all these disturbing images as they pick up the Polaroids. As they finally get out of there and go get the cops, when they come back, the Polaroids are gone. The entire field is empty. So I adapted that urban legend for my first student short film, and so far it's getting a great reception across the board. And we've got a lot of screenings starting to line up, which is awesome. And it'll be nice to be able to get back into the flow of things, because anyone who knows me, follows me on Facebook, you know that I go to film festivals. And from 2016 to 19, averaging over 20 festivals a year. And it's, around the globe. It's been a great ride, but with everything, all things must change, especially with COVID time. So when it came to that, and Joe, again, I thank you and George for having me on, and Jason for having me on, for stepping in. I'm doing a virtual series now also. And I'm doing a series with Montclair Film here in New Jersey. I'm doing Digging into the Darkness, which kicks off this Sunday. And we're tackling the film. There you go. What a beautiful picture. That picture right there is from Sitges, Spain, right before the screening of Color Out of Space. Except I superimposed the colored screen on there over the white. It was amazing to watch it in a theater like that. Nonetheless, we're going to be doing Digging into the Darkness through Montclair Film in Montclair, New Jersey. I partnered with them, and we're going to be doing a discussion series for the first 5 weeks, from February 21st through March 21st, talking and discussing selected Netflix horror films. Films like Darklight, Stephen King's 1922, The Black Coat's Daughter, what else? Freaks, and 1BR. So we're going to be tackling a lot of the newer horror that's on Netflix, because honest to goodness, Netflix does not have any classic horror, so you can't tap into anything when it comes to that. So we got to go with the newer names with it, promote the filmmakers who are going out there right now doing the meat work, like our friend Jason here, and going, yes, you, my friend, handsome son of a bitch you are. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to be doing that. And anyone who's interested, go to montclairfilm.org. It's going to be educational and entertaining, and it's going to have a lot of great guests joining us. We have limited spaces left, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to talk horror for a relatively inexpensive price, for 5 Sundays in a row, for 1 hour every Sunday night. How can you go wrong? There you go. That's the pitch. Joe, done. Okay, let's talk something else now.
So explain this to me. Wait a second. So you guys aren't watching the movie together. It's a prerequisite to watch the movie, and then you discuss it in full detail.
Exactly. And that was something that Montclair Film and I had kind of come to an understanding about, with this being the first season of it. We wanted those who were going to register and join us, because nothing's for free. And, it runs 5 sessions for $75, and that's a bargain considering how few conventions, how little there are no film festivals right now. So you have a chance to be screen to screen with people who are involved in all these different films, whether you're a fan, a peer, a filmmaker, a journalist, or just crazy like me when it comes to horror cinema.
A bit of all three,
Yeah, and Jason can attest, even though our interview was pretty quick, and we were kind of in the back of a theater, just talking, mind you. Oh yeah, exactly. Talking. We were back there, but it's a lot of fun to be able to talk with the filmmakers, the cast, the crew, face to face or screen to screen. And we wanted to be able to tap into that audience why there was a void with conventions and film festivals. So we've got some filmmakers coming in, some producers coming in. So we have DPs coming in, composers coming in, cast coming in. We have a lot of great things in this first season. Plus, and Joe and Jason, I know that you can attest to this, as well as everyone that is on the chat right now. You look at all these old theaters, all these older theaters, and all these art house theaters, and a lot of the mainstream cinemas across the board. Any place that's screening a movie pretty much is down and out for now. And that's something that, with Montclair Film, they've been a part of the Montclair, New Jersey area forever. They've been a big part of the Montclair Film Festival. And they're a small art house screening room theater that is also feeling the crunch, just like so many across this country around the world. I'm so happy to hear, Jason, about, and by the way, congratulations on the world premiere with Kill Giggles. Awesome, dude. Very happy about it. And it's great that it's actually being screened at an event. It's not virtual, that there will be people there. So it's something that we're all missing, and we're hoping to fill that void for 5 Sundays in a row, Joe, with Digging Into the Darkness. Again, montclairfilm.org. You can register under the 16 plus adult education tab or link on there. You can find it and join us in less than 48 hours, actually.
Nice.
So there you go.
I'm sorry, I missed. There will be Q&A?
There will be Q&A. It's a town hall Q&A with those we're inviting to it. And you have to watch the film before. That is a prerequisite. And it's all on Netflix, and we all have Netflix. So this is something that you can go out and do. Sit with your loved ones, sit with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, well, not really your kids, mind you, but sit with those who enjoy horror.
You want to fuck up your kids? Watch them.
Listen, dude. All right, we
grew up in
time where horror was okay. When I was 11 years old, I remember watching Faces of Death. What does that tell you?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, where's your sense of adventure?
I remember renting Faces of Death, like riding my fucking bicycle to go to the video school to rent Faces of Death, to ride home and be like,
exactly.
Pop it in, and
but it's not like that anymore, though. So that's why we recommend you be over the age of 16 when it comes to watching these films. But join us. Watch the film, join us for the hour-long Q&A, the town hall, Joe, and ask questions to the filmmakers, the cast, the crew, because I will be moderating and I will have my share of questions, but it's about interaction. It's about going ahead and learning. And it's about enjoying yourself for an hour and getting away from all the stuff that's around us.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes. Luciana, Luciana, big blast from the past. That is exactly right. And yes, Chris, 1922 was amazing. It was a really incredible adaptation of Stephen King's work. Couldn't agree more.
I want to hear a Mike Patton score, though. That sounds intriguing.
Oh, it's such an interesting movie because now we're in that new renaissance of all Stephen King stuff being adapted again. In fact, they just announced the Running Man's going to be adapted. Yeah. It's going to be from the source material, which is really interesting. And it's so funny because on Facebook, I don't know how many people follow me on Facebook. I'm under JYKY. I shared the news about the Running Man, and Dynamo is in the picture with the link in the caption, and in big bold letters, Dynamo. I love that when he's singing opera as he's chasing after Arnold Schwarzenegger, and someone went out of their way to go ahead and correct me, saying, "Oh, he's not going to be in the movie. It's not faithful to the adaptation." Never said that in my post at all. And by the way, I just happen to like the character. So relax for 2 fucking seconds, please. Relax.
Everybody just breathe.
Exactly.
The internet unclenched?
Oh my
God. You
God.
not met the internet before?
Oh my God. Well, you know what? That's why, Jason, I leave everything blank. Allow people to draw their own conclusion.
You have to.
For shit. So
you can't have opinions on the internet anymore. Opinions are wrong.
Right, exactly right. People have got
No, it's not right that it's wrong. It's wrong that it's right. Right?
So wait a minute. You're telling me Arnold Schwarzenegger is not going to be in it?
No, probably not. And neither is maybe Sub-Zero will be in it. Maybe we'll have to Chainsaw in it and Dynamo.
We're talking about your short. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in your first short film. That's awesome. Why didn't you lead with that?
Oh my God!
Lead with Arnold Schwarzenegger battles Leatherface.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And within the frame, coming out.
No, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not in the short. Just want to make a note of that right now for people who will believe that. No, he is not in short.
All legal disclaimers aside.
All legal disclaimers, exactly right. But Joe, as I was saying, with 1922, we're in a renaissance of Stephen King being adapted. Everything of his, what's old is cool now, to readapt it and get as faithful as possible to it. And I've had a chance to talk with them before, the cast and the crew at South by Southwest. And I'll tell you something. It's really interesting what Zach Hilditch did with that film and the actors that they brought in, Thomas Jane and Molly Parker, because I think they do a great job of creating that real toxic couple. And Thomas Jane, man, He's intense in person, on the screen, everything, man. He's just got a vibe about him. So yes, he was awesome, man. He's so intense and laid back. He's like this, and he doesn't move until you respond to him, and then he looks up and he starts talking to you, and then he goes right back down.
Like, I wanted to watch his Punisher, but I was like, he doesn't look like a Punisher, more like a reprimander. Like, I didn't watch it. Like, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I know Arrested Development is where I know the majority of this acting experience from.
Yeah.
And he was good in that. He was brilliant in that. Joe's blinking at me like he has no idea what I'm talking about. But that's
I just remember we were actually talking about The Mist last week, or was it the week before?
The Mist, that's right. Yeah.
So.
Well, I have a question, and I wrote it down. Well,
What's up, my
the
friend?
second question I didn't write down.
What's up?
But bringing up Stephen King and stuff like that, and JK, given that you have so much experience at the film festival circuit around the world, given the dramatic rise of, or given the creation of Dollar Baby and the Stephen King shorts and stuff like that, and being able to take those stories and for the $1 thing, you know, but being able to use those on the film festival circuit. And to be able, you know, you can't make a profit off it, but you can make your own version of a Stephen King story.
Right, exactly.
And
right.
You had experience. You know, what is your experience with having seen those, or having been at the different film festivals, seen the range? What do you think about someone as prolific as Stephen King, basically sort of giving filmmakers an open license to make a creative vision, but not make a profit off of it, to be able to tell a story without having to worry about what you're going to do with it later?
I honestly think that he is exceptionally smart for doing that, Jason. I love the fact, and I think with Sam and Vanessa that did Rainy Season, which is adapted off of one of the dollar babies that you put out there. But I think Stephen King goes back to his roots, and whether you agree with him politically, whether you agree with his views on film and writing, it doesn't really matter, because you know, he's someone who doesn't forget his roots. And that's why a big firm thing I believe in, that when he goes ahead and gives that approval for you to go ahead and do that, to adapt his work, but not make a profit off it, he remembers all the times, all the years, all the rejections, and how hard it was to make it on his own. So he understands, he wants to be around to help out the up and coming filmmakers, but he wants them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. I've seen a handful of them over the years, and they tend to play well. It's like Lovecraft. Mm-hmm. Lovecraft plays well at festivals because people see Lovecraft adaptations and they go crazy. Same thing with Stephen King. So he does, you know, him putting it in that you don't have to get a profit out of it. You are not getting a profit out of it is really smart, because it's going to draw with just his name. That's one of the things that drew 1922 to our lineup. Beyond the fact that I've talked with Zach Hilditch before in the cast, you know, it's a great adaptation, and Netflix is not stupid for not scooping up as many titles as they can of what it is. So whatever it is with Stephen King, Jason, it sells. And you know what? It's a great launching pad for a lot of indie filmmakers who may not be necessarily the most creative, but definitely need a kick in the pants to move forward.
Cool.
So what's up, Joe? Come on, Joe. I want to hear a question. Let's hear a question.
How do you put up with Jason?
I'm just the co-host. I'm the band leader. Also, what was up with that fucking devil cat sound earlier?
Devil
cat in your room?
Apparently, my daughter's cat made it into the studio somehow.
Is your daughter's cat a chupacabra? Because that's not what cats sound like.
Great.
It was like a kite and a cat and just all sorts of shit.
She's missing George, apparently.
No, I'm not doing that bad, am I?
Yeah, no, you're doing very well.
I'll shave my hair and put it back on my beard, and then that way it'll fool people.
Yeah.
All right, so Jay, you sent me this picture. I love this picture. I want to know more about this picture.
Sure.
Where was this?
Oh my God!
Oh boy!
So you can drop.
Oh, get the hell out of here!
Yeah, that is the first time anyone's ever asked me about the sphere, the Phantasm sphere. So you know, it's really amazing, and I've been so blessed and so lucky, guys, to talk to so many amazing people over the years. And you know, some conversations are here and forgotten. Some conversations stick around. And some conversations really open up doors. And my friend Mark Phillip, who's up in Syracuse, New York, he runs Nightmares Unlimited. And as I nicknamed him, and he took on the nickname, which I'm so proud of, he is the blacksmith of horror. And so my friend and one of my closer friends, Father Evil, they surprised me with this orb with the logo for Horror Happens in it.
Oh, let me get a close up of that again. That is fantastic.
Oh.
Yes, and I give it's amazing having
And your name's in it.
You just need to mount that to a staff and carry it everywhere. Like
I thought about it.
Like,
You were talking about before with shifting. I'll put it right on the stick. And we'll go ahead and do that.
Doesn't matter what the fuck, like a little, like a little electric car, a VW Bug, the fucking Maximum Overdrive 18-wheeler.
That'd be freaking great.
That looks rad.
But Joe, Mark and I met at Horror Hound Weekend, and he was someone for years who has crafted all these different reinventions, reimagining of these iconic horror weapons and horror memorabilia, like Freddy Krueger's claw, the needle from Reanimator, the box from Hellraiser, the sphere from the aspect of Phantasm. He's done all these amazing things, and no one ever really interviewed him. So Mark and I sat down at Horror Hound Weekend 2015 or 16 in Cincinnati, and we sat for 45 minutes and delved into his life both personally and professionally. Because for me, I'm a firm believer in long-form conversation. It's great every once in a while to have a 5 or 10 minute soundbite, but you're not really getting to know anyone at all, what their work is, what they're doing, anything like that. So to be able to sit down for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and talk to them, it can make an impact and it can change a person's life. And him and I became really good friends after that conversation. We talked about him being a father. We talked about him and his kids. We talked about his work in horror. We talked about Horror Hound. We talked about his metal work. We talked about him as a person, as a fan. And a year later, they surprised me with that as a thank you. So it was really amazing to be able to do that because it was very unexpected. And between my friend Lou, who's Father Evil, and Mark, who is from Nightmares Unlimited, they're two great guys, two guys I've ran up and down the road with at a lot of conventions, a lot of shows. And this is when I was covering a lot of conventions. And it was a great present, a great gift for going out of, doing something selfless by just talking to someone, not expecting anything other than a conversation. And that's what the Horror Happens radio show has been about for years, just talking to the people who are doing the meat work and trying to get the best conversation possible.
That's awesome. And unfortunately,
that's what I miss about film festivals.
Exactly.
Just being able to go to the film festival and not necessarily, not even just, being able to see something brilliant to sort of blow the fucking doors off of your mind that you would have never expected. But to be out in the lobby or to be out smoking a cigarette, God's bless it when I used to smoke cigarettes. Now I've got these. I've got toothpick. It's not the same.
You're saving your life, my friend. You're saving your life.
I know. My beautiful boy makes it.
We want you around a long time. We want you
exactly. Well, I don't know. Some people may disagree with you, but I missed the aspect about film festivals and being able to talk to anybody and not know who you're talking to. And it's like you pick up a conversation with someone, and they're the writer or the director, or they composed the score, or they did effects or something like that, and you find out about their film. And then to be able to see these connections be made at film festivals. To where you can go back to that same film festival a year later and see a film that was made out of a connection from the previous year or previous or something like that. To me, the social networking aspect of festivals, that's what I miss the most. Yeah. And I know Mad Monster Party because I was lucky enough because Kill Giggles we had a few screenings towards the end of 2020. Genre Blast Film Festival, they had their in-person thing at the Alamo Draft House in Winchester, Virginia, and that was fucking amazing. Yes. And it wasn't the same. Everything, you couldn't run up and hug anybody. You had to wear a mask or you had to fuck off. Those were your two choices. But it was something. And at that point in the apocalypse, even still now, something is better than nothing.
You're right.
So it's not going to be the same, but it's like at least it's something and not just sitting at home. I'm being out, having some semblance of normality. So I miss that. And that leads me into a question I have.
What's up?
Because you made your film, your first film,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
And I want to know more. I want to know more about your involvement in it. But my first question is, what was it like for you, your team, your crew, to make a film during the apocalypse? Given all, I mean, just because it's not the same. I mean, you can't just
Right.
Usually you show up to a set and it's like everyone unloads shit for like 2 hours, then you're scrambling around. Everyone's got their fucking heads cut off. It's nothing but pollo locos running everywhere around. But now you've got to check in to get temperature. You have to do all these things before you can do the madness. So
Right.
what was it like?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that, and that is really, I think someone really needs to do a documentary on all the filmmakers who made any sort of content during the apocalypse. And if it wasn't for going back to school, Jason, at Montclair State and getting the film program, I'm not sure I would have done it. It was something that was not comfortable whatsoever. And when I mean not comfortable, you're dealing with, as you brought up, a ton of restrictions that go along with it. Not only with COVID, but as a student, because it's a student project, mind you. It's not the next coming of Scorsese or Christopher Nolan or Dario Argento. It's not.
Or is it?
Or yeah, let's not go there. The whole point is it's just a short that came out of a convenience of needing to get a good grade and be at the top of the class and show that a 43-year-old could sit there with a bunch of 20-year-olds and be able to produce something, which in spades I did.
Hold on, JK, cover your eyes real quick. Joe, he's 43.
I know, old man.
He's younger than us. No,
He's younger than both of us.
All right, keep going.
So when it came to that, it was also amazing to be able to do it because the challenges and the challenges included everything from only having my actress for 6 hours to shoot everything, to dealing with so many safety protocols. I can't tell you how many bottles of hand sanitizer, gloves, masks, face shields, waivers to sign I had for the thing. We only had 4 days to go ahead and do it. 2 days to do it, and 2 days were me doing all the pickup stuff. But the 2 days I had cast and crew on there, 1 day was to do the Polaroids, because it's all about Polaroids, so we had to do a Polaroid shoot. And what happens? The Polaroid camera breaks down. So we had to go outside the box and use Fuji Minis and use technology with apps and find really bizarre and weird pictures of my own childhood to put up there as the introduction to it. And believe me, you don't realize from that generation some of the weird pictures that are out there. There was one that kicks off.
I do.
Well, Jason, you might. Anyway. But you look at it, and there is a picture of me at Christmas time with a robot behind me. I'm like, what the fuck is a robot doing behind me? And it's like, it's just stuff that you don't remember because it's been so many years, but it's just weird pictures. So between those challenges and having the actress for only 6 hours because of COVID, primarily
6 hours a day, right?
No, 6 hours 1 day. That's it. That's all the time we had. 6 hours 1 day.
You had your actors for 6 hours for production.
That's it.
Holy shit.
And we shot the hell out of it. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we did a fantastic job because on the positive side, I was lucky enough to have a great crew with me. Emily Harding, who is also a student in my class, she did a phenomenal job under a lot of pressure with a short schedule as the DP. She came in there with experience, a great eye. We communicated really well, and she did an awesome job. And then the production assistants, Dennis Sema and David Sand. David had worked with me on a micro short that we'll leave that for another time. But Dennis and David have been great. But the one of the big factors of it, and Jason, you're talking about COVID and having a production. When I put this idea forward, I wanted a few things that I could control. One was the property. I did it at my aunt's house up in Sussex, New Jersey, and it was anything but control. I ended up getting a tick bite on me, and I had to refigure the entire story. I still keep that tick in the bag in my room just to remember how much of a challenge that was. We went ahead. We had nothing but rain on all the days that we were there.
You got bit by a tick and rearranged the entire story?
Yeah, I think it's right there. Right there, the tick bite.
Yeah, it is.
Thankfully, I had to rearrange the whole story because the Polaroid landscape takes place.
That's so hardcore, dude.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sussex County, that's one of the big things, Lyme's disease. I was so safe but the story was meant for them to walk through the woods out of a field into the backyard. We had to rechange the whole entire story. And I think it benefited it more by changing it. But also, we had rain the entire time we were there. We had to deal with rain all the time. And a lot of the pickups I had to do on days that were clear. So even with controllable land, I also wanted a story that I could do during a COVID time. Because a lot of people during any time will have this fantastical idea of these things. Jason, the corner is a prime example of what you do right. Because it's one room, it's two characters basically, and it's about as controllable as you can get for the situation. Now, I know there's a lot of stories that go along with it, but it's smart. Well, Joe, when I went ahead and did this, the urban legend I did, the Polaroid Trail, it was something I could manage because we weren't allowed to have any dialogue. I could only have the actress for 6 hours, and I needed a big space that I can control. So what better way to do it than doing an urban legend where it's real simple, basically no dialogue, and simple directions, and it was anything but. So COVID on every single level of this production made it a challenge, but it was fucking fun to do. I mean, it was a blast to do. Go ahead.
Well, just for clarification, what were your accredited roles for this? I mean, it was your project for class, so I know you were involved in everything, but specifically
every possible thing except for one thing. I did
craft services.
No, I did craft services too.
Nice. That's the most important one, David.
Yes, it is. You make people happy. I directed it. I adapted it. I produced it, co-produced it. I did all practical sound. Everything in that is practical sound that was recorded or generated. Also, all the post-production was done by me. And I did some of the DPing. That was on it. Emily handled just about all of it. I did some of the pickups with the Polaroids and with footage that I added to it later on. But I want to call out, and she's watching right now, Susan Decker, my girlfriend. She created an organic original score for the short film made from singing bowls, quartz and bronze bowls, and drums, and little pick guitar. She's going to kill me because I'm basically butchering something she's so passionate about. But she went ahead, guys.
That sounds amazing already, dude. Like, I want to hear that. It's really bad.
It is. And you know what, Jason, I'll send it to you. I'll let you take a look at it.
I would love to hear it.
If you want to take a look at it, it's 5.5 minutes of experimental, creepy ass storytelling. That's what it is. It's 5.5 minutes of that, and it was amazing. But I want to give props to Susan because without her on this, the score would have been nothing without her. She brought something that I never thought about doing and something that really kind of enhanced it because even the sounds of the Polaroid camera is authentic. A 1970s Polaroid camera, even though, and the funny thing is, guys,
I have 6 of them on the wall.
I love you, man. I love you. And one of the things I had to go on eBay, and I bought probably over 100 Polaroids off of eBay because the camera broke. The film I had was expired, so I couldn't shoot any Polaroids. So
it was a pain in the ass.
Oh my god! So when you folks who see this short film, the field itself is over 700 Polaroids, bought, made by me, cut out, laid out, everything. It's crazy. Oh, look at that! Oh, dude, look at the box. What's in the box?
I know. It's like I have to look at through the viewfinder on here.
Wait,
there's no
hold on for a second.
Screen.
Hold that top for a second. Hold on.
Now it's a camera show. Whose is bigger?
Yours wins.
I thought Polaroid closed down. Oh, wait.
They did close down.
God damn it, Grandpa Joe. Just go with it. All right.
Exactly. Okay.
Wait,
so there you go.
Okay, that's the kind I remember.
This is the one we were going to shoot with, but it ended up breaking down. And it's autographed by Eric Stanzi, who did one of the most controversial films of all time, Scrapbook. So we did this, and it was cool to be able to record the sound, but we were not able to shoot any pictures with it. But that was the Polaroid camera we were going to use for it. Exactly. Look at that. So yeah. Oh, you're so good. Now, we did not end up getting the newer one, Jason.
Like Polaroid porn.
Exactly.
Porneroid. Let's make a movie called Porneroid.
There's your next short right there.
Short?
or long, you know. So,
I mean, it's average. I mean,
it's
maybe
average. Okay, good.
Maybe, I don't know. With credits.
But I give Emily Harding also credit because she came up with the idea of the Fujifilm minis to be used in it, and it really changed the story also. I mean, there were so many factors, Jason, with it. We had to have Sarah, the lead actress, wear a mask on set, so we had to rewrite her character to a certain extent because she had to wear the mask all the way up until the final sequence, and then we made it a part of that reveal of what was going to happen in the final act.
Was that a course prerequisite that she had to have the mask? Or
no, actually, tell you the truth, I wish they had talked more about safety than they did. Everything that came on safety was me. Everything on safety was me. And believe me, I think after a while, between the temperature checks, the masks, the hand sanitizer, the waivers, I think everyone got a little sick of it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was just like, I mean, if you had it for like a 6-hour shoot, I mean, it's just like.
Exactly.
It's annoying as hell, but then like you've got to do that if you're doing that for 12 hours a day for, right. I mean, like for an extended short or a feature or whatever like that, like it gets so much worse.
And that's why there's so little of it being made during this time. And that's why so many protocols are put in place. But overall, they might have been frustrated, but they had a great time. We really had a great time. I've known David. I've known forever. He's been a friend of mine. Dennis is, I got to say, he's 20 years old. He was when I worked in the public school system, he was a student in one of my other students' classes. And he reached out to me and we stayed in contact and he wanted to work on the set. And I gave him an opportunity to work on the set. So it was very cool. And my aunt got involved and my cousin got involved. It was all.
What did you do in the public school system?
Well, I work, my main business, Jason, is I own my own business and I consult on special needs.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's why I've had the flexibility for years to do what I do because I earn a good living, I help people, and I have flexibility to travel. Now that's going to change a lot with things now with COVID, but before that was definitely the case. But I worked in public schools and I've worked.
You make the world a better place.
What's up?
You make the world a better place. Like as if I didn't need another fucking reason to love you. Now I've got it. So it's like there we go.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Someday I'm going to see the shit out of you, or we're going to have tacos, and it's going to be awesome.
I love that, dude.
Because that's bad, but we're going to have tacos.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to have tacos. I can't wait to get out there. And that's one of the things, Joe, I'm looking so forward to with the short is tangible film festivals to get out there. And I'm hoping by the end of the year, unless something pops up suddenly, by the end of the year to actually do tangible festivals.
Dude.
What? Oh, no, knock on wood. No jinxing whatsoever. No jinxing whatsoever. I have firm belief that we're moving towards that right now. Can't see the future, but I have firm belief that we're moving towards it. And festivals, you were talking about festivals. Many festivals, in my opinion, will come back as hybrids, which means either one of a few things. One, they'll either be part online and part in person, or they're going to be in person, and then the week after they're going to do an online component, or they're going to be strictly online, and they're going to have certain elements, like certain screenings, be more curated as part of the live aspect of it.
So that's what I believe. This leads me into this is a whole other episodic discussion, but I would love to be able to talk about that at greater length at some point. Maybe if I have my own show on the Indie Brigade.
Well, no, which is definitely happening now.
Is that what that shit is? With Kill Giggles, we've got distribution, and we've been going through all the trials and tribulations of
absolutely
deliverables and paperwork and everything else like that. And it's been amazing. I can't say who it is yet. I can say, but you can't read my lips, and it pisses me off. However, well, no, but part of the thing is, we've been able to be a part. We've been able to participate in actual physical event film festivals, but anything that's online, we're not allowed to do. Well, it's just online apparently makes lawyers and everybody else nervous. Well, it's also, but no, coming at it from the technical point of view that I have, everyone's just like, well, no, but we're geofencing, we're doing all this shit.
Right.
I don't fucking care. It's like, if you want to, you're going to figure out how to just fucking record whatever you're watching.
Exactly.
And so it's just like, and it's like, it's very conflicting for me because I love pirates. I want people to pay to just see my movie, even if it's 99 cents, even if it's through the Columbia House tape and record and Blu-ray.
Oh my God, yes!
And you promise to pay them, but you don't.
I've got 9 CDs here for $1, folks. Just one.
And they're still like, I'm not allowed in Terre Haute, Indiana. I have to circumnavigate entire sections of that. But you know, there's been a lot of film festivals, or there have been many film festivals recently that I haven't been able to have Kill Giggles be a part of, because that was one of the red flags we got from our main distributor. It was just like, you can't online, no. Physical event, yes, that's cool. You know, and a lot of stuff that we did, you know, towards the end of 2020, we did a couple of drive-in film festivals. I'm like, honestly, if somebody wants to fucking record my film from their cell phone in their car through the window, I'll live stream commentary behind that shit. You know?
Oh, wow.
I have to interrupt for one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Our buddy Ed is here. And Ed, I actually gave you guys a shout out earlier.
Yes.
Guys, anybody who is in the area tomorrow in Bartow, Florida, Central Florida, go out and check out the event. Ed's going to be there with his son, and it's going to be good times. They're going to be promoting their movie there.
Yes. Make sure you go out and support. And you know what, Jason, just to piggyback off of what you just said, we've dealt with it because also I've done a lot of programming over the last few years now for different festivals. And I've been very blessed and very lucky to be able to do that. And it's become a larger conflict more and more and more with distribution companies about screening films and putting features out there, because there is a fear that people are going to pirate it, that they're going to find a way. And that's the fear that you face now. But I got news for a lot of distributors. You got to figure out a way around it. You got to figure out either the language behind it or understand that that's going to be now a part of our world going forward. Because a lot of these festivals, why it sucks not to be in person, they definitely see the perks of being virtual. And already film festivals were suffering before that. There are so many amazing festivals around the world I could talk about for hours. But guess what? A lot of people, it's a niche thing. And if people don't go to it and it doesn't sustain, it doesn't survive and it goes away. Just like Digging Into the Darkness. We have a great amount of people for the first season, guys. But if people don't support it, then guess what doesn't happen? Digging Into the Darkness. I'm not doing this for free, folks. I love doing it. I'm happy to do it. I want to do it. But Montclair Film needs help. I want to make sure people want to do it. And you know what? You got to pay to play. I'm sorry. That's the life for you. So
you thought about cover dancers? I think me and Joe would rock that shit. I mean, if you had like me and Joe behind you, we're like da, 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 da. We're all like Goldie Hawn from Laughing.
Movies here.
I'll paint like stockings on my tits. It'll be great, dude. Joe's doing the Batusi. It's fucking there we go.
Exactly. There you go.
It's added incentive. Whatever we can do for the cause, whatever we can do.
Exactly. And you know what? I get it. Going back to Digging in Darkness, I get that money is scarce right now. It's not easy for people. But guess what? I mean, you go out there and you buy all these things, and you go to cons, you go to film festivals. You know what? You're not doing that right now. So if you can, join us. If you can't, I understand. I get it. But there's plenty of people who have, and we're very thankful that they're joining us. And if you can, join us. If not, maybe we'll see you for a season 2. I hope so. But we'll go ahead and see how that goes through. And by the way, Sean, much respect for you for working with special needs. Well done, my friend. Well done. So I want to give credit out there. So
there's like a bunch of questions and comments I missed.
Damn it, Joe. Questions? Well, here's my question. Wait, Sean Smith. Sorry. Okay, here's the question. Who would win in a fight? Geometric Fight Club, the Sphere from Phantasm, or the Box from Hellraiser?
We can't talk about it because you don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club or Geometric Fight Club. No, you don't talk about it. But
you can't talk about it, but you can illustrate your conversation and your dialectic.
That's fair. You know, no one said that you couldn't illustrate it with. That's true. Fair enough.
Draw it on your body. Do you get like a Sharpie and just pick a blank patch?
You know what? I'm going to say the box would win because the box has got long range attack, and the sphere is more than just a drone. It's just a follower. If it doesn't have a master, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going with the box. As they say, what's in the box?
So Jeff said earlier, the thing that drives independent film is the passion the filmmakers bring to each project, the determination to tell their story their way.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And that's the great thing about independent film. It's one of the things that I love about going back to film school and now having that tool in my toolbox, talking to amazing people like Jason, filmmakers who really embrace the magic of independent horror, is to understand more that, you know, this is a platform for you to be able to create your vision, to create something original in your image, something that, because there's no way in hell you're ever going to find originality. There's too many things that have already been done. But occasionally when you get that gem where it's close to something original, it's generally something from indie filmmaking. You know, it generally is. So you definitely have that vision. So you're absolutely right, Jeff.
Well, I think it's, I mean, and this is for us. No, wait, our second episode after we talk about the first thing we're going to talk about. Well, no, like originality and independent film and stuff like that. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, mainly because I'm not flexible or bendy. I didn't remove a rib, no matter what the Marilyn Manson things are. But to try and to do something in this era, this age, well, even before the apocalypse in the world went all tits up, in an era of reboots and remakes and re-envisions and reimaginings, everything else like that, where like shit was like, we did this 5 years ago, let's reboot it again.
Yeah.
No, like turn the lens this way and look at the indie film circuit. You know, to be able to have like what we kind of did with Kill Giggles, because I mean it wasn't mind blowing. We didn't reinvent, but we turned it. We took something that had been done 1 billion times and we just moved it 2 inches to the left.
Exactly.
And with it. So it's like, you know, I mean, in terms of originality, you're not going to find anything original anymore because there were only 3 original ideas and they were all used up by like 1066 AD. When the 1066, look it up, kids. When that happened, everything went out the fucking door. But you can take something that's been done and think about how you can just turn it this way or whatever like that. But to be able to find a different perspective of something that's been done, that makes it original, and that gives you something to be able to run with. Exactly. Which is what a lot of people in Hollywood, it's like, we don't want to take a chance on it because there's no money in that. There's money, there's financial stability and predictability. I've seen it before. Well, fuck, I might as well watch it again because I'm scared of everything over here.
Exactly.
And it's wrong, and it's still right because you can't tell people what to watch because then you end up in a Rod Serling episode of Twilight Zone, which was really good because it was bad Burgess Meredith. It was the obsolete.
Oh my god, I love the one with the books. I love the one with the books.
The obsolete man, and then
that's right.
Time enough to last.
Oh, the glasses.
Because he's like, he didn't lace.
Spoiler alert, folks who haven't seen that episode. Real quick with it, and Jason, you're absolutely right. And I'll even go from what I did with Within the Frame. There's been plenty of projects that have dealt with Polaroids before. Nothing new about that. But you don't really realize how few do anything with urban legends anymore. And it's kind of weird. And that's what I wanted to do. I've always been a fan of that urban legend, but I wanted to do something that at least I could adapt and give some originality to, because I've never seen one done about the Polaroid Trail. And it's not a faithful retelling of the Polaroid Trail. It's my adaptation of what that story could have been with a woman who ventures onto a property that she should have never ventured onto.
See, and that's awesome. I mean, we're almost at a point now where genres have become urban legends, like the found footage film. I mean, the found footage genre has become its own urban legend. I want to make a lost footage film where you leave the lens cap on and you just hear what's going on, and then the last like 10 seconds before the credits, you're like, wait, was the fucking lens cap up?
You're so experimental, Jason. They'll call it experimental stuff. Joe, did you want to say something? I interrupted.
Oh, no, now I'm just saying then you cut to Ryan Reynolds in a box underground.
No, god damn it, Joe, it's existential noir.
Oh, God. That would be great.
Jason, take this one.
Let's see.
You got to say it out loud, though.
Okay, I'm all right.
You pointed down. Do you mean the comment or your jump?
Comment, Ed's comment. Okay, all right, Ed. Ed, I haven't seen you in like forever, dude. I remember you doing well, man. Here's this comment. Let's see. What we got? Go ahead, Jason.
Okay, the hell. Excuse me. I'm gonna get my best Ed McKeever voice. The Hellraiser box wins against the spheres, but the powers of the box would be useless against the tall man. Pinhead takes him out, and Tall Man just pops right back in through an interdimensional time portal. as Legion of the Undead running the Hellraiser crew right back out of town.
All right, considering Ed's from New Jersey, he sounds nothing like that.
Yeah,
I don't know, I
exactly.
didn't write a fucking A&E biography about the guy. I'm just making it up based off a thumbnail, Joe.
Well, if you would have watched the live Drone Cav episode last Thursday, you would have seen Ed on there
Wow.
promoting his new movie.
I would have.
There you go.
I didn't because I was busy reading the Encyclopedia Britannica from.
You know what? Let me respond to Daniela real quick. Because besides
right.
the fact of using hand
Please,
puppets,
there's
and by the way,
tension, Joe.
I don't have hand puppets, but I have James Balsamo's American Slayer or whatever it was from one of his first movies, so we can talk vicariously through that. Oh, whoa! All right. Well, you win. But to get to Daniela's point, you know, when you're dealing with indie publishing, oh wow!
Wait. You want to really fully nerd out?
Wait, I really throwing things out.
It's Henry Bemis from the Twilight Zone episode we just talked about. And it comes with a little tiny book.
Wow.
All right, this is a different episode. We got to go.
Okay. Here we go. So answering Daniela's point about indie publishing, that's true where you have total creative control and not a bunch of editors. But the problem with it is, and perhaps it's changed over the last few years, because I used to cover a ton of authors, a lot of independent authors. When Sam Hain was a really huge publisher, I used to cover them so much on Horror Happens Radio. But that's great that you have that. But a lot of them, you're just writing to an audience where you have to self-promote everything. And not every book that is edited, that doesn't have a bunch of editors, is worth reading. And you know how I know that? Because I wrote a book, and I edited it myself and self-published it. And you know how much it's gotten? Next to nothing. So I'm just being honest about that.
But it's next to nothing.
Next is true.
You're not like 6 miles away from nothing at the other end of the skating rink.
But Danielle, you're right in the fact you have that total control, and that's important. But it's got to be a stepping stone, just like indie filmmakers. It's got to be a stepping stone. Do you want to be an artist, or do you want to have a career? And that's something now a lot of indie filmmakers don't want to hear. But you can be an artist all you want and be happy. But I got news for you. You want to make a living at it also. And if you can't make a living at it, guess what's not going to happen? You're not going to have a career. And Jason, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You've been doing this a long time. You seem to be in a really good place. You've got your first feature out there, correct?
We're almost out there. We're
almost out there.
We're breathing hard and coming soon.
But hey, there you go. But you're working your way up. But there's people who have they want to be artists, and they just want to be artists. You can't do it if you want. Find another line of work. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to be an artist, but I like distortion too much. And I know too many artists are like, I listen to NPR, and I'm like, I don't care. I need Keith Richards.
That's a really cool comment, Jeff said. It is because of Romero Pictures Indie Brigade that I bought and am reading Daniela's book.
There you go. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And I'm glad. Do you agreed you do have to get professional aid? Yes, exactly right. There are people out there, there's authors out there who just submit stuff, and I went through a whole bunch of it for almost 3 years, and it was rough at times.
I think Joe had a heart attack. Joe, are you still there?
Joe is turned into a 45 sleeve. That's what he's turned into.
What happened is Jason made me spill my drink.
Yes,
you gotta get the 45 spinner.
I don't know if I have the plastic tip for it.
I have 3 upstairs.
You know? Well,
I also bought a boombox for my wife because I'm gonna make her a mixtape for her birthday.
Are you gonna do like Say Anything and everything? You're gonna have it above you and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You gotta have the trench coat too.
Yeah, obviously. I'm not wearing anything underneath because I'm a harlot, but it's fine.
Okay, so somebody either has to explain this one to me. This came up earlier, or Lance, this may be a different show. I'm not quite sure.
Which coloring book, Lance?
Lance doesn't know. He's all fucking jacked up on Mountain Dew and whatever Taco Bell's serving this week. He has no clue what dimension he's on. That guy's in charge of trains. I love him so much. And Sam, I love the Wagners.
And
okay. William says, my idea of Nightbreed versus Hellraiser is a tad better, and their war was in hell. Hence the hell.
Their.
It's called licensing. It will never happen.
It's called there. It's called.
Actually, am I correct in saying that? Right, Disney owns Hellraiser right now. It was part of their deal.
Wait, does that make one of the females sent by to Disney?
Yeah, exactly. I think they had that meme with your new Disney queen between that and the alien mother.
Wait.
Mother alien.
I love you dearly, but we have to back up 13 seconds. What did you just say? The meme?
The meme, whatever it's called. The little thing.
I've never heard anyone pronounce it meme. That's interesting. Okay.
I wear a muumuu occasionally. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I mean, you can wear a muumuu, and now I'm going to paste nothing but the gifs of that Simpsons episode where Homer's going all the way
down. The real picture meme.
Meme?
Well, now we're going to, and we'll talk about, you know what, our 5th episode will be GIF versus GIF. Because honestly, one's a file format, one's a fucking peanut butter. But
it all depends on what you have to give for your supporting images. That's all.
No, it doesn't, because you're not talking about a Giraffics format. It's graphics. It's not the color Jold. It's fucking gold. Things have RGs for a reason.
Jason, that's great. I missed you, dude. I missed you.
From what I understand, that whole
like the last time I hung out in the CD hallway. At the Gateway Film Center, which is one of the most beautiful theaters in the world. I fucking miss the Gateway Film Center. I miss the Nightmare Film Festival. I miss eating that edible that my friend gave me, and like, it'd be fine. And I ate the whole thing, and she's like, "What'd you do with the last part of it?" And I'm like, "I ate it." She's like, "You ate the whole thing?" And then I watched James Quinn's movie, and it melted the fucking face off my skull, like I was a Nazi looking at the fucking Ark of the Covenant, and it was just the best Friday night ever.
Sounds like a Nick Cage movie.
No, it's much better than that, dude. I can write dialogue.
Yeah, Daniela, you're right. Daniela, you're right. You have to treat it as a job. You're right. It's 24/7. 24/7 when it comes to it. You're exactly right. Exactly right.
If you don't promote and market yourself, no one's going to do it for you.
That's exactly right.
And indies don't have the money to pay people because that's why it's indie.
Yeah, exactly right.
I'm on it tonight. Well, not on. Well, it's just... most of the road.
All right. Guys, what I'm going to do is, because Jay, are you good for a few more minutes or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you, Jason, are you good for a few more minutes?
I mean, that seems subjective in Apocalypse, Joe, but I'll
all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up Mr. David Lee Madison, who has the show After Ours, and we're going to plug his show real fast, and then we'll get back to shenanigans. But I want to make sure that Dave...
Wait, do I get to do sloppy seconds at the end of that guy's show for my next show? Are we just going to keep piggybacking?
Absolutely.
Are we fucking snowballing each other? Is that what this whole thing is?
Might be.
Snowball? I mean, that's cool. I just need to know that going into this shit.
37.
You people haven't sent me my HR paperwork.
Dave, you good to come up? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Lee Madison, who has the show After Ours at 11 p.m., the end of the night. Mr. Madison, how are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. You know, Joe, you caught me
mid-chew?
Yeah, I'm a Milano-aholic.
I literally... Milano?
Sure.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
He's like, I'm looking at the poster right now and eating fucking cookies.
That was my childhood crush, man.
The one with the hockey stick and the torn jeans? I had that poster.
Yes.
JK had it too, apparently.
Yeah, I was actually
charmed. That's all I was more of a charmed.
I was more of a Catherine Hellman person myself from Who's the Boss.
Nice.
From fucking Scope? And she was all like Jessica Pink.
Wonderful show tonight, gentlemen. How are you guys all doing?
We're good. We're good.
It's definitely been interesting. So at 11 o'clock, David, tell us who this guy is.
Yes, at 11 o'clock. I mean, this guy comes from wrestling royalty. Sorry, I'm choking on my Milano.
Milano.
It's not, sadly not Alyssa Milano. 11 o'clock.
Not swallow.
Yeah, there you go. 11 o'clock tonight from Wrestling Royalty, we have Andrew Anderson. His dad was Arn Anderson, and Andrew's a wrestling superstar who's wrestling right now as we speak, oddly enough.
Like now?
Like right now. He
Where?
is in New Jersey. He's fighting Greg the Hammer Valentine as we speak.
Wow.
So I hope
that's an old name.
So I hope that he's going to be able to do the show all in one piece because, you know, the Hammer's a badass dude. And he was also in the Mickey Rourke picture, The Wrestler, which was a really cool flick. And he's a really entertaining guy. I think he's done TV shows, everything from like The Blacklist and a whole bunch of cool shows. And he's going to come on and schmooze to us about wrestling, about acting, and just about being a pretty cool dude.
I truly hope he beats Valentine ass.
You know, it's funny.
Because honestly, Cupid was a dickhole.
I saw my first wrestling match probably like 1976, and it was Bruno Sammartino versus Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Wow!
And if you were going to tell me that over 40 years later, Greg the Hammer Valentine was still going to be wrestling, I would probably say you were nuts.
Yeah, seriously, is
that what you were there, or would you be a lot more profane about it?
Probably at 7, I probably was probably not. I didn't probably have the wicked Satan tongue that I do now.
Really?
You know what's scary? I'm starting to get flock of seagulls hair in this whole.
Oh no, dude! You want to go down to I ran so far away. Give me a second.
You want me to go there?
If I lean in towards the camera,
already gone, so we're good.
All right, well, I'll get the...
Wait, no, but look, and now, if I had this in a fucking skinny tie, I'd be set.
So, by the way, are we going to like? There's a Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Are we going to get a search party to find George? I mean, has there been any George sightings? Is George okay?
Well, I'm telling you, this is all I received. And then, oh shit, afterwards, or was it before that? I don't know. It was one or the other. So
he's in the fucking Mars rover.
He's definitely alive.
He's like, I can see my house from here.
And I mean, I miss him dearly.
Yes, I mean, we got to get him something.
Fucking dead. He's fine.
We got to get him something other than the Atari 2600 to connect to this show with. Because...
Yeah, has he thought about upgrading the dial-up? Because that shit, you can hit like 56K now. I mean, not 56JK, but like 40. You can hit 43JK now on a
exactly.
I remember numbers, and that's hard because math is a hell of a drug.
Yes.
Well,
David, I'm sorry you have to see me again. I'm just going to apologize. I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm
going to.
I think
Joe called, and I answered.
I think you're an amazingly funny and talented guy and a great filmmaker.
Yes.
I thank you.
I didn't pay him anything to say that.
No, I know. Thank you. I'm going to send him tacos wherever you are. So, well, actually, I'll just send you Milano cookies. I'll be like, here.
No, I actually.
I'll pay Alyssa Milano to bring you cookies.
They make them double stuff now, which is
usually
you tried the mint ones when they were out?
Oh, the mint, yes.
No. Mint ones? Oh, they're phenomenal. Oh, they're so good.
Somebody make an edible out of that.
Yes.
Anyway,
any Girl Scout troops in the California, Colorado, where else is fucking legal areas? Please hit up the Romero Brigade for corporate sponsors.
Wow, did you just call us the Romero Brigade? If you can't even get our line right, then how the hell are we going to give you a show?
I don't know, dude. I went from top left to bottom right because there's a lot of fucking words in there.
Yes, there is. Romero Pictures.
I mean, I could have said RPIB, but then people are like, Mr. Pibb? What? So I thought having 2 key words in there instead of an acronym would yield better search engine optimization results.
Will this show up on there?
Oh, yeah, look at that. It's under you.
There you go, yeah. There you
go. See, RPIB.
The RPIB YouTube.
Yeah, go to youtube.com/c/Indie Brigade /purple emoji, which we presume is an eggplant icon. Something. I know, but see, then I'm old enough to where I went eggplant icon, and then I went back to Kid Icarus from the Nintendo in the 80s.
Yes!
That's how I spent my Saturday nights was playing Kid Icarus and watching horror movies like Faces of Death 3 and 4 and Phantasm 2.
Look.
Wow.
Yeah!
Oh my. He has NES cartridges. What the hell?
What,
yes.
Really? Are we getting that part of the show now? Because this is
all right, David, I'm going to drop you out because I'm sure you don't want to be part
just wants
of
to eat cookies in peace, dude.
what is going on right now. We will see you and Scott Schiaffo at 11 o'clock, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. You guys have a wonderful show.
You
and I'm just
too.
going to sit here and OD on Petridge Farm, and I'll catch up with you guys at 11 o'clock.
Thank you, David.
Nice.
And again, everybody stick around for 11 o'clock. JK, I don't know if you're aware, but David's kind of co-host is Scott Schiaffo, who was from the original Clerks movie. He was the Chuli's Gum guy, and he was in Jay and Silent Bob, Reboot, and Vulgar. And
I love it.
So, yeah, he's on it on a regular basis, so good stuff. It's that whole indie aspect still.
Hey, you know what? Indie is king. Indie is king. So it is good. So,
All right.
so, Joe, are you having fun tonight?
I am having a blast. I just don't know which rock to crawl under, that one or the one over there, or as Jason's pirouetting.
I'm spinning back and forth in lieu of a stage show or a house band.
Wow.
All
All right, if I sign on to this channel, dude, we're getting me a house band. Like, I want a mariachi band. I don't care where you guys pony up the money for, but yeah, I want a mariachi band.
So, JK, this is what we're going to do now, if you don't mind. I got a bunch of pictures that you sent over, and I'm going to bring up each picture.
Not this time.
That's our only fan show, isn't it?
5 seconds or less description of what is going on.
Okay.
All right? And let's begin.
Paul Williams, Phantom of the Paradise Fantasia. It was great to meet him. Paul Williams. I think I said it right. Paul Williams. Fantastic. Met him in the lobby, and he was amazing. He was just incredible.
Wait longer than 5 seconds.
Joe Hill, speaking of Stephen King. Joe Hill from South by Southwest what's the name of the AMC show? Nosferatu.
Oh, we cut to the next shot.
Okay, both of those are the Santas from Silent Night, Deadly Night. At Harhound. Alex Aja, and that was at the press one for Crawl. And I had a chance to interview him at Tribeca. And you want to hear a funny story real quick?
Sure.
At Tribeca, he did the big demo for Creepy Campfire Stories, which was part of their whole VR thing. He is someone that if you look at him, you never would think that he creates such terrifying stuff, because his son was running around like a maniac, and he was such a good dad, and he was so much fun to talk to. You just would never suspect that guy did High Tension and the Texas Chainsaw and all that shit. So, such a great guy.
I'm assuming this is your guest role on WKRP in Cincinnati.
No, that was not. That was Bizarre Ace. God, Joe, I love you. I want to get the jacket. I want to get the corduroy jacket with the elbows that have the patches on it. I want that. In fact, I was Herm Burford for one Halloween when I was a kid. That goes to show you the love I have. But that was Bizarre AC in Atlantic City, New Jersey, way back when. Ed would remember that, I believe. And I was there interviewing Nicholas Vince from Hellraiser, actually.
Nice. I just lost my place.
Fantastic Fest. If you've never been to the Alamo Draft House in South Lamar in Austin, Texas, and by the way, a big shout out to everyone in Texas who is going through some really heavy shit right now. Hopefully everyone is doing well. It's going to take a while to get things back, but the South Lamar Alamo Draft House and Fantastic Fest, it's my favorite film festival in the United States. Last year was the first year I missed it in 5 years, and they have karaoke-themed rooms, Joe, and this one was the Twilight Zone. And I took a picture of myself opening the door.
Nice.
I snuck into one of those a while ago.
Did you?
A Fantastic Fest, because the Monster Squad kids were hanging out.
Oh, my God.
I wasn't on the guest list, but I was at a different film festival in Austin that same weekend.
You go to Austin Revolution?
Well, yeah, Austin
Yes.
Revolution. So, yeah, we snuck over to Fantastic Fest, and we had to wait, because, right as I got there, Andre and Ryan and then Ashley were all on stage.
Right.
So, I was gonna text Andre, but I'm like, and then I was at the door, and he's like, you're on a list. I'm like, so I had that Wayne's World moment to where I'm like, dude, my friend's on stage. Everyone's friend's on stage. I'm like, balls. So then we had to wait till a big group of people went out, and then we snuck in, and it was
God.
awesome, very 1989.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Well, just to let you guys know, I believe those guys are going to be on next week again.
Oh, that's
Don't tease me.
Really, very cool.
Are you going to call me at 8:59 and be like, George Zinner?
Andre and Ryan are in the lobby right now. George is in.
I don't know.
Can you?
This last time, but with an accent, it'll be fine.
Oh, that's so good. What was that? What was the picture you just had up there? Let's see the next one. That's fantastic. And if you notice, one of the trademarks, because I was in swing, big band, jazz, jump blues, and rockabilly radio and booking bands for like a decade.
Say that again.
It's swing, big band, jazz, jump blues, rockabilly music. I did radio before I did horror talk radio, and I booked bands and traveled across the country to different festivals, and I always wore two-tones. Those are my black and red two-tones. I am so proud of those. Love those shoes.
Nice. All right, I lost my place again, and I don't think you're supposed to bite these things.
I'm hungry, dude. You know how film festivals don't have lunch breaks or dinner breaks or meal breaks? So I got hungry and I started biting the thing, and that's from Fantasia up in Montreal. 3 weeks of nothing but genre film up in Montreal. It's amazing. If you've never been there, go there for a weekend. It's the best thing you're going to find around in North America for film. They do so much Asian film also. It's incredible. Highly recommend it. It's in July. The beloved Jack Ketchum. He was one of my first interviews on Horror Happens. And if it wasn't for his kind words, I wouldn't be doing this right now. Jack Ketchum was one of the most disturbed people you'll ever meet, but he loved brown liquor, he loved cigarettes, and he loved writing about horrors within the home. And he is one of the greatest modern-day horror authors, and he's passed away, sadly, from cancer not too long ago. But that was at Rock and Shock in Boston, or Worcester. I'm glad I sent you all these pictures, Joe. This is great. I love this.
You were hungry again, apparently.
I was hungry in Chicago. That was Chicago at the Music Box for Cinepocalypse. Okay, so I don't know how many people have heard of Erotica, Danzig's
movie or comic book and then movie.
I was there at the world premiere of that, and I'm gonna tell you something. Mystery, Jason, you're not kidding. Movie. It was a Mystery Science Theater 3000 event because we were doing commentary to the movie while it was going on. It was so rough, but I give him all the credit in the world because he stuck by what he was doing. So, you know what? I give him all the credit in the world, and he did something a lot of people haven't. So, more power to him. That was in Brussels. That was in Brussels at the Brussels International Fantastic Film Festival, and that is Zach Lipovsky, who is one of the co-directors of a film we're doing for Digging into Darkness, Freaks, which is on Netflix. This is a film, guys, go in not knowing anything, because it is a hybrid of horror, sci-fi, and superheroes, and it's got a really creepy performance by Bruce Dern in it. It's awesome.
Nice.
I dig his shirt.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Given the title and the horror, the implications of that title in a horror genre alone, like that's a lot to live up to. So it's cool he tried to tackle multiple aspects within that, not just try and do replication.
Yo, you're right, and he does it really well. Him and Adam do a really great job on a bare bones budget. They made something that looked a fraction of the price, looked like $1 million. And by the way, William, Squirrel Nut Zippers, absolutely fantastic band from that era.
Squirrel Nut Zippers, the Hell song. Yes.
Let's see.
In the Afterlife.
In the Afterlife, you'll be looking those serious drives. You got to make the scene all day. Jason, have you ever heard the Squirrel Nut
Tomorrow they'll be held to pay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think those cats live like 45 minutes away from me. I think they're from Chapel Hill somewhere.
Yes.
They used to have a bunch
they
of concerts down here in West Palm Beach
what you need
with
to
the
listen
local
to is,
radio station.
The Snotty Nose Rez Kids, because it's tribal indigenous hip hop from Canada. It's rad.
Oh, this is
And you got to know the tribal nose Snotty Kids, right? You got like bougie.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, cut it off, or we're gonna get snagged from.
You're gonna get
Tag. Don't get us tagged. Please don't get us tagged. That's a great video yet. But yeah,
Yes,
I saw
it
them
is.
live probably in '90.
Wait, it was cool. You have up to 7
Fun.
seconds, dude. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he was okay.
You'd be surprised with YouTube
Oh, no,
and
you're not
Facebook.
wrong, Joe. Yes, you're not wrong whatsoever. So
No, I wouldn't, because when I did Diablo After Dark, I would play Leonard Cohen's Everybody Knows. And I'm like, I'm not fucking Leonard Cohen. But apparently that wasn't enough of a disclaimer for Facebook. They're like, you don't own the right to this. No shit, because I'm not Leonard fucking Cohen.
Yes,
But
Jeff Boo Daddy is tremendous live show. One of the few successful swing bands out of that era. So I love that.
Well, damn. Again, I'm not on the questions. I was trying to bring up another one of these.
Big Bad Voodoo, yeah.
I love Horrible Imaginings. That's Santa Ana, California. That is a festival I program for, and that is a pose that I do all the time now. I love the freaking God pose that comes along with it, because look behind that shadow. I love the shadow. It looks like someone's about ready to grab me from behind. That's a freaking cool picture. Love that picture.
All right. This one.
Oh, Macabro. My favorite film festival in the entire world. It's Mexico City. You got, who we got there? We got Diego, we've got Edna, and we've got, oh, God, I can't remember his name. Gonzalo. We have Gonzalo. And Gonzalo is one of the coolest filmmakers you're ever going to meet. He did a recent film called Luciferina. I'm pretty sure I butchered that pretty bad, which was this possession film that was all based on spirit walks, and it's freaking crazy. But he is just amazing. He's just such an amazing festival, an amazing time. And Edna Campos is she's one of the best.
All right. Last but not least.
Last one. Look at that. Look at that handsome magazine cover. That is me hiding behind the magazine, trying to look cool, but failing miserably. And Horror Hound magazine, which I'm proud to be a staff writer for, in a very cool issue. So there you go.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun.
Well done.
I have to look through my Nightmares. I have to find my Nightmares Film Festival. I need a picture of me and Jake. I know I've got it somewhere.
There is one of us in there.
Damn it, Joe. If only I'd had any fucking prep time.
You know, most of us have all that stuff like stored on our computer and can just zip it over and fucking.
You know,
print.
that was a ball. I give Jason and cast and crew so much credit for what they do with the Nightmares Film Festival. It really is one of the best film festivals in the entire country for not only independent film, but really they give a door and they give a platform for really edgy stuff. And that's something that you don't see with a lot of film festivals. And I had such a great time the year I went there. I actually, for quite a while, I would drive overnight to film festivals. And literally, to go to the Nightmares Film Festival, I had 2 days. I had to leave on Friday or Thursday overnight into Friday morning. I drove overnight, got there Friday morning for Jeff Frumis's Romeo's Distress, and watched that. And then I left Saturday night, like 10 o'clock, and I drove overnight back home to New Jersey to get to work.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I did that. But to do what I used to do, I mean, you'd had to drive like crazy. It was a ton of road trips, which was awesome. But Jason does such a trend. Who's the other organizer? Is it Chris?
Chris Hamill, I believe.
Chris Hamill, right.
Yeah, Chris and Jason. And there's some
Bridget
people behind it, but
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was about. I mean, it was about so many different things, and they had their virtual version. I can't remember the specific title that they gave to it for this particular year. But what I loved so much about the Nightmares, I mean, aside from good gods, I mean, just the programming. The programming alone was amazing. The venue itself, the Gateway Film Center, it's one of the most beautiful venues I have ever seen ever. Like, I mean, just to have my name on a film that screened there was fucking amazing.
Look,
Maybe to
I
me,
think I know who that is.
what?
Ah, look at that.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, I need to find that's
So this was
vintage right there, ladies and gentlemen.
yes. This was so the whole thing with Nightmares that year was it was headless mannequins. So I brought a mannequin head, and I had everyone sign the mannequin head. It was fucking great.
But I mean, just, and I think it helps having people who run a film festival, you know, that are also filmmakers, film lovers. I mean, not, you know, and you know that can sort of make or break a festival. You need to be able to have that creative acumen and then that business mindset to be able to merge somewhere in the middle and to try and make it happen. And granted, that was all before the fucking apocalypse.
Right.
And I think that's what I loved about Nightmares was, I mean, they were able to make it happen, and then to be able to focus on filmmakers in a way that some festivals, they don't have the resources to be able to extend that far, be it screen reads or something like, or whatever, and then Nightmares has set up different sponsorships and stuff like that to be able to attract attention, to be able to shine a certain light on films that otherwise wouldn't have that attention paid to them through other film festivals or something like that. And Nightmares continuously goes above and beyond the Call of Duty to be able to just care about not just the films and not just the film festival, but the filmmakers themselves. And I love that. And they did that with the physical event versions. They did that with the virtual versions that they had for this past year. So, for film festivals to be able to tackle something like the fucking apocalypse and not just bury their head in the sand, to be like, shit, this is hard. We don't want to do it. Bye-bye. We quit. Heads up. But to figure out how to do it, and not just to where it's like, send us your films and we're going to put it on YouTube and it'll be awesome. And, but to take it beyond just we're going to send people a URL, and to be able to still have a Q&A somehow, to be able to have interactive panels, that go above and beyond whatever the programming was, to have the filmmakers involved somehow with the people who are watching the film, so film lovers. And to me, that's what a lot of the best film festivals always did, was they had that juxtaposition, that cocktail of filmmakers and film lovers. Because, you without one, you don't have the other, no matter which way you fucking look at it. And to be able to have it to where you didn't have to know the cinematic part lots. To be able to have an amazing conversation with somebody about it, who either made the film or liked it, or hated it, or what, you can pick it. But to be able to have that balance between the two, that's what I think I really miss the most about a lot of my favorite film festivals. And I hope it comes back. And I hope I get to see your film at a festival. That would make me happy. That would make me happy with comfy things and Joe over to the side somewhere.
You know what? I couldn't agree more with you, Jason. And you're right about the fact of having a great foundation for film festivals. And that's one of the reasons why some of my favorite festivals are Macabro, are Nightmares, is Fantastic Fest, is Fantasia. And it's not taking away anything from anyone that runs a film festival, but not all of them are created equal. And one of the ones that I work with, Horrible Imaginings out in California, we're getting ready to open up submissions. Submissions are open, but we're still getting more in. And, that film festival is so different from Philadelphia Name, which I work with, which is different from Macabre, which is different from First Contact. So I talked about this yesterday on a panel with a bunch of young filmmakers at Temple University. You've got to pick the film festival that best fits your work. And if not, attend the film festivals that have this great balance like Jason's talking about, like Nightmares, where you have fans and filmmakers who are a part of this, not only to go beyond networking, but just seeing what people are doing and supporting the cool art that they're doing with it. Even if you have to drive overnight 10 hours to get there and then 10 hours to be home, in 2 days, go out there and support it. It's so true.
Well, and then just getting jealous in a creative way that yields something new and different that didn't exist before.
Exactly right.
Because I've had brilliant ideas. Just like you see, you think about some way to be able to. You get inspired by seeing the brilliant things that people that you know and don't know are doing, and it's amazing. I miss that.
Yeah, I miss it too.
Yeah,
I miss it too.
But we'll get there soon. Hopefully,
we will.
There was one question from William. Does Horror Hounds still have their forums?
Forums how? Online? On the website? Or what do they do? William,
it's like a powerful acronym.
Yeah, it's all on both. That's true. William, what are you talking about with forums? Because I'm going to say probably not, because between the website kind of being reconfigured and things kind of being shuffled up, I haven't heard anything about forums, but I could absolutely be wrong. It might be above my pay grade. So
maybe he typed in 4 skins and it changed it to forum.
No, I don't think they have the forums. They have some Facebook groups and stuff now, but I don't think they have the forums that you're talking about anymore. So I don't know. So I hope that answers the question. We'll see.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. So again,
Joe's going to play us off now, JK. We got to. You go,
JK. You know what's so cool about having my kind of like the little bit of power I have?
Wow. That was
The
fucking
little bit of power that I have.
Now,
No, I'm kidding.
I was only backstage. Now, damn it. Can I just be
Joe, so if Jason had popped up and there was someone else in that frame, my friend, that would have been fucking great, dude. That was fucking great.
Damn it.
Good try, though. It would have been George. George would have been in that frame.
I can take my shirt off, but I don't think.
Ti amo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We're trying to keep viewers.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I could just post it on Han Solo.
Oh, God.
But on that note,
Yeah,
Jay,
on that very sour note.
where can all the people find you on social media? Plug what you got. Let us know. Tell the world. Go.
Well, thank you first and foremost, Joe, Jason, Romero Pictures, the Indie Brigade, everyone involved for having me on. This has been a blast to be a part of this show, and it's been one of the favorite interviews I've done over the last few weeks as part of this. And I hope that I get a chance to come back because this has been a lot of fun to talk so many wild and zany things. For me, you can find Horror Happens Radio on SoundCloud under Scratching the Surface now. It's all podcast form. There's over 1,000 shows and conversations, so plenty to listen to whenever you want to. And I thank you for the support. For Horror Hound, check out the new issue 87 coming out. It's going to hit newsstands shortly, and there's a lot of great content. And the Horror Hound Film Festival is coming up the third weekend in March. So head over to horrorhound.com and join us for that. And, of course, for Digging Into the Darkness, Digging Into Darkness right now is going to kick off this Sunday, February 21st at 7 p.m. East Coast time. And we're featuring a big discussion on Darklight, Padraig Reynolds' film. And we're going to have tentatively scheduled right now because in this crazy world of actually needing to make money, sometimes things don't go the way that you want them to. But we're going to have the composer, Holly Church on, and we're going to have the DP, David Matthews, on talking this creature film on Netflix. And then you can go to montclairfilm.org. You can get more information and register. Join us. We're going to be here for 5 Sundays in a row for the first season. It's only $75 for 5 sessions of Digging Into the Darkness. And it's going to be an absolute blast. And I'm going to be moderating, asking questions. We're going to have a lot of great guests in, talking the films of Netflix. And it's going to be a wonderful time. So head over to montclairfilm.org. And find Within the Frame. It's going to be playing film festivals in 2021. And maybe 2022, and we'll have news. We got into Rock the Shorts in LA, but that will not be our world premiere screening, so because that's in June. So we're hoping for sooner, but check it out when you get a chance and enjoy the madness of this urban legend. So there you go. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter and all those other Instagram postings. There you go.
Under what? Under what?
Under
what?
Jay, also a strange man in a film land. So,
that's what I found you under. I had to do some searching for that.
Yes. Strange Man in a Film Land. JYKY. You can find me on Twitter at Horror Happens 6 for Horror Happens radio show. So it's all over there. Just find me, say hi to me.
Absolutely.
And find me a taco, Jason.
I will. I would love to buy you a taco, dude.
Jason, you're supposed to have your taco hat on, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, no, I had one on earlier, but that was when I had to go get lunch for my boy because I promised him tacos.
Nice, dude.
And the devil made you do it.
No, I am the devil, motherfucker.
Yeah, and Jason.
You're not paying attention to shit?
Jason.
Yes, sir.
Good luck with the distro on the film.
Oh, thank you, sir. As long as we get the final I's crossed and the T's dotted, we should be 6x6.
Awesome.
All right, Jay, we're going to have you back on when the original host is going to be on. Don't get me wrong, Jason.
Maybe
George. I was going to say, Jason, you did an excellent job.
He did. Jason, you did an excellent job.
An excellent job, brother.
Well, see, if I lick the side of his face, he's my guest, and George can't have him, and then he's got to clear it through me. And then we have to work out a custody right thing for JK.
Oh.
Well, it's a DNA claim thing. Okay.
Fine.
Jay, thank you again. We'll see you next time, and really enjoyed having you on.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you to everyone out there tuning. And as always, pleasant nightmares.
See ya. What an awesome guest. What an awesome guest host. that's kind of beardless now. That looks kind of weird.
you call it a really bad time, Joe. Like, it was
And
one
there's
of the
no
things-
guy liner or anything.
No, it was I was going to say my wife put my boy down, so I always decided to surprise him. And then I got itchy. I'm like, I'm just going to shave all the shit off my face. And I was going to surprise him tomorrow, and then bam, hey, be on our show, and it's like, oh, great show. Oh, break a leg. Thank you very, very much, Mr. McKeever. I appreciate that very much, sir. I think we should be aces, but now we'll be a little bit more than aces. We'll be golden aces. Anarchy Aces sounds good. That should be the name of a show somewhere.
You have 2 minutos to plug what you want to do.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude, but the group Menudo was amazing. I think they had a soundtrack contribution somewhere. Was it the Cannonball Run 2 soundtrack, maybe? I'm not
I don't know. Read this one.
I can guest host anytime. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
How about that one? Wait, one more.
It's more Han Solo, but we haven't covered up with a sign and a nose for legal purposes. I'm just the one here to make help Joe look pretty, and then we talked to him.
That's really hard to do.
We talked to amazing people. I mean, not really. I mean, you've got that silver fox grandpa thing going on for you. Like it's like a Hardcastle in McCormick, except we don't have any fucking cars. We just sit on our butts. But at least our butts have finely sculpted cheeks. So, I mean, we've got that going for us, which is nice. Are we done yet? Am I talking still? We got a minute to go. All right. Where can you find me? You can find me sometimes over here. Sometimes I'm over there. We got 30 seconds left. All right. So
tomorrow you're going to be over here.
I'll be there tomorrow at the Mad Monster Film Fest, which is probably still hopefully going on right now. If not now, right tomorrow and Sunday in Concord, North Carolina. And there's going to be a slew of brilliant celebrity guests there, some amazing vendors with some absolutely brilliant things to be able to sell. Lance Wagner, clearly you're jacked up on whatever Taco Bell is hawking this week, but I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless, my brother. Tomorrow at Mad Monster Party, Kill Giggles will be screening at 5 o'clock. It's our first 2021 screening of this clown killer thriller. We're going to have various cast and crew on hand for a Q&A, a riveting Q&A afterwards. Myself will be there, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Cinematographer, editor, Mr. Jesse Knight, Jason Ledford, one of our amazing gaffer, EP, and just brilliant. He also starred as Mr. Felissa Rose. Felissa Rose will be at Mad Monster Party. We're hoping to be able to sneak her into the screening. Mr. Michael Ray Williams, lead actor, Ms. Margaret Alice, Ms. Nareda Velasquez. We're going to have brilliant people from both sides of the camera there, so you don't just have to look at me and hear me go bleh, because nobody wants that, especially not after this. So see brilliant people from Kill Giggles tomorrow at Mad Monster Party, as well as there's going to be amazing shorts and features showing. Mr. Christopher Moore has filmed a short, Backward Creep, which has won many awards, and rightfully so. The bass player from Megada, David Ellison, has a film that he produced that's going to be there tomorrow night. So, like, it's going to be an amazing rock'em sock'em good time. I don't know what it's going to be like because the apocalypse, you can't run up and hug people, you can't hand out shit anymore, but at least it's something, and sometimes something can be, well, it's more than nothing, so fuck it, right? Be nice, wear your masks, use turn signals, eat tacos. Fuck, are we still recording, Joe? Is it still going?
Yeah, we are. You got to tell them where they can find you on social media and crap, and the movie on social media.
Over there and sometimes over there, and then
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of that stuff.
I'm gonna show you my tweeters, and then
the website.
The what? MadOnesFilms.com, KillGiggles.com. Fucking Facebook, YouTube, Twitter /MadOnesFilms. I believe Instagram is /the MadOnesFilms because I forgot my original password and the fucking cunts wouldn't let me back in. They're like, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, we're the MadOnesFilms because honestly, I believe the article makes the distinction that's important enough for justification. So there's that. Our CB radio handle is ClownKiller666. Our Morse code is dot dash dot.
Skull Crusher would have been cooler.
No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't. Stop calling me when I'm doing awkward things. And they'd be like, "Hey, you want to be on the show?"
So Mr. Schiaffo is saying, "Stay awesome, Jason." Yes, at the fest with you. Also, the film Dwellers by Drew
Oh yeah,
Fortin.
'cause I think Dave Ellison produced it, but I believe that's the writer director or one of the two. Scott, are you going to be there tomorrow? Are you here now in North Carolina?
Hey Scott, can I bring you up for a second?
I didn't hear an answer. I don't know how the internet works. I presume it's like a
Yeah.
CB radio.
There's Scott. Ask Scott yourself.
There's
Hey, Jason, how you doing, man? No, I'm in New Jersey. I'm not going to be at the fest. I wish I were.
You should just drive on down. If you leave now, you can make it here. I'll buy you tacos.
Oh,
It's not
my
like there's a weather crisis happening anywhere. The road should be fine.
Jersey's haven't had this much snow, I don't know, since whenever, really.
Since
Crazy.
Snowball left the quick stop.
It's madness, man. Really enjoyed you.
Thank you. I enjoyed being had by you.
We'll see you at 11 o'clock. We'll see you at 11, Scott. Thank you.
All right, brothers.
See, that's how we do it here.
That's how it gets done. With no warning, and this is going to be fun doing a show here. It's like you're going, hey, you're on. Fuck, I'm doing.
Did you have fun?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, on that note, you see that there's this whole closing thing again that.
Oh, that's right. You guys have credits and proper stuff.
Well, no, I mean you just got to close the show out because it's 10:49 and I need at least a minute to pee and make another drink before the 11 o'clock show.
Maniacs and Film Fanatics, it's 10:49. Grandpa Joe's going to need a minute to be able to get to the crapper and then to be able to get back. So you got to be able to adjust for time standing up because the older you get, take it from a fucker like me, it gets harder to be able to do stuff. So you have to go and be able to make a bag of microwave popcorn. If you still do the Jiffy Pop, that's cool. You've got enough time. I mean, just like freeze up the fucking Yoo-hoo, fire up the Tang, Ted Nugent, or Orange Con, whichever you prefer. There's a brilliant thing coming up with Mr. David Lee Madison and wrestling superstar Andrew Anderson. It's going to be cahoots, the most fun you can have without four corners and a bunch of ropes around you.
Is that it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure when you start recording. When does the show start?
Well, we're still live, so you just have to have a closing. What is your closing going to be when you have a show on the network?
I don't know. We keep talking about having a conversation about that, and then I just keep doing shows here. So,
all right. So in other words,
I don't fucking know. Eat your cereal.
To be an indie means we buck a system that doesn't want us. To be a fringe filmmaker means we don't do it for them. We do it for ourselves. To be an outlaw on the fringe means we'll die before we fail. Be an outlaw.
everybody. Joe, I don't know if you know this, but your microphone is off. You look like a 1920s silent film. Even better. How are you, my dear friend?
I don't know. I just got the song Godzilla stuck in my head.
Ah, Blue Oyster Cult?
Yeah.
Look at that. I actually know something. Not very much, but something. Scratching my head like Stan Laurel. What's up, Sean? Hello, my dear friend Emmett from Haven for Heroes. All my people in Orange County, New York, make sure you stop by Haven for Heroes for all your comic books, baseball cards, and toys, and all that great fun stuff. Great guy over there. Hello, Sean. I hope you're well. Hello, William. Joe, you did a wonderful job tonight. The show was fantastic. Those guys were funny, and that's all you can ask.
I had a handful. It was definitely interesting. Definitely fun guys, and it's with them both working in the actual indie industry. It was kind of cool.
Absolutely. Maybe one day I will be able to meet somebody who actually works in the indie industry. I should be so lucky.
You know nothing about the indie industry, right?
I do not. Who made that hat?
Independent films whatsoever? No. Okay.
Joe, it's been a crazy week up here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Actually, it's been a crazy 2 weeks. I would say in the last 14 days, we've had to have gotten over 6 feet of snow. I think the warmest it got up here in Lords Valley was probably about 29 degrees. And you cap that off with being in COVID home jail. It's enough to make somebody go crazy, but I don't know who I'd be talking about. Who are you typing to?
You?
Oh, okay. Okay. You got me.
There goes the magic, Dave.
The magic. We pulled off the veil. Well, if Uncle Scott is in the green room, I'm going to ask him a question before I pull him up. I'm going to do a segment before the show starts on some hidden gem films. And Mr. Schiaffo, give Mr. Ridgely a thumbs up if you would like to be a part of this segment and talk about them, or if you want to come up in a little bit.
He'll come up in a little bit.
Okay. He gave you the finger, apparently. He's like, I barely like Madison for the few minutes I sit with him every week. You think I'm going to
Wait a minute. Hold that thought. No, go ahead.
Look, everybody, Joe Ridgely is now a talking circle. Jeff Liebeck says, time to film the sequel to Wit's End, a fine film. Thank you, Jeff. I just don't think that film really lends itself to being a sequel. I mean, what am I going to do? Get caught in the Sahara Desert the next time? That would probably be like the logical thing. So, big news in the Madison family, Mr. Ridgely. We adopted El Pusero.
From what I understand, his proper name is End of Night Director Cat.
End of Night Director Cat. So, on a night that I'm not going to be able to do the show, he's actually going to sit in. And he's going to be far more entertaining than I am, which is probably not going to be very difficult. Well, with that being said, everybody, welcome to the end of the night. Joe, I was just thinking, this is almost a year that we're doing this show. And I think it was probably maybe the first or second week of March back in 2020 when we had our first episode when the great Daniel Roebuck joined us. And we have to find out the exact date that that show was. And we'll do a year anniversary, and we'll have dozens and dozens of our past guests come on and say hello again. Like,
nice.
William Sadler and Sam J. Jones and John McNaughton and Brian O'Halloran and Tiffany Shepis and Kane Hodder and Donnie Most and Judy Norton and the list just goes on. And we'll have them all on to make fun of me yet again. And it would be great to have Tiffany Shepard bring her giant talking Dave head. That would be pretty cool.
And soon we can include the Reinforcer on
The
that
Reinforcer.
list.
What a great guy. He's a great guy. He's actually, I know Andrew now for probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 years already. He's a great guy. He'll be coming up in a few minutes, everybody. I just want to do a quick segment of some films that are hidden gems. He's El Pusero Gato. Yes, El Pusero Gato. That you might...
Wasn't that a Styx song?
Was it? Sticks? Did you say Sticks?
Yes, like Domo Arigato, Mr.
Oh,
Roboto.
Mr. Roboto, yes,
It was, yeah,
that was
okay,
it.
never mind.
That was
It was like a Hail Mary.
A Joe attempt at humor. I know, you tried. My very first film I want to talk about tonight came out... do you have any idea when Twister came out, Joe?
Twister 95?
6, 7? Yeah, okay.
Oh, was it that early?
Yeah, maybe
Or that
96,
late?
97.
6, 7? Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. But right around the time Twister came out, I think it was the Sci-Fi Network, of course, made their knockoff of Twister, and it was called Tornado. But if you guys haven't seen this movie, do you know this film I'm talking about, Joe?
I do not.
You have to go out and get your hands on this movie called Tornado, because it was literally the great Bruce Campbell.
Oh, let me get that close up.
Bruce Campbell
Yeah.
and
We
Ernie
got a
Hudson.
glare. And Ernie Hudson.
And Ernie Hudson. There's actually Bruce on the. You see Bruce on the back.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
The great Bruce Campbell and Ernie Hudson battling a tornado. It was absolutely a hoot. Anything that has Bruce Campbell is a hoot to begin with. But to have, they in comparison to Twister, like let's say Twister was a $100 million movie. If Tornado was a $100 movie, I'd be shocked. But it was way more fun. It's Bruce Campbell getting blown for 2 hours. What else could you ask for?
Fun fact about Twister, if I may.
Yes.
If you don't mind. So
Absolutely.
when I was in college, I worked for a TV repair shop / electronics place, and Twister was always used to test out surround sound systems.
Well, at the time, it was actually like a big cinematic event. It was like a state-of-the-art special effects. I remember when I went to see it, and they were driving, and the cow flew by. It was awfully exciting. Chinwind.
Bruce Campbell, the Chin.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Chinwind. Okay, I like it. That should be the sequel. Another film that came out, I guess, in the very, very early 2000s, maybe? I could be mistaken. Maybe the 1990s. And it had Josh Duhamel. And this movie was in the vein of those really, really torture... they called them torture porn horror movies. But, of course they weren't porn. Like Hostel and Saw. But this was a really interesting one, and it was a lot of fun. I think Lance would especially like that one. It was called Turistas with Josh Duhamel. Did you see this one, Joe?
No.
If you get a chance, it's a really cool flick. As you can see, it's shocking and constant. What does it say there? Genuinely terrifying trip. So, if you get a chance, check out Turistas. A really, really cool film.
I'm actually surprised you watched a movie that is torture porn-esque.
You know what's funny when like Saw and I just said the other movie.
Well, I'm thinking like Cannibal Holocaust, or is that not torture porn?
It's more like a Hostel. When Saw and Hostel came out, I was a much younger man, and I was mildly entertained by how those movies were put together, and most people were like horrified. I kind of ate popcorn and laughed at the absurdity of them all. But Turistas was actually a lot more fun than those other flicks were. Another film, one of my very, very favorite filmmakers of all time, This is well after, yes, Harvesting Organs, well after the Spider-Man trilogy. The great Sam Raimi made this film. You probably saw this one, Joe, but if anybody out there hasn't, it was a great film called Drag Me to Hell. Did you see Drag Me to Hell?
I did see Drag Me to Hell.
What'd you think?
I saw Drag Me to Hell.
Wow, you didn't like Drag Me to Hell. Wow. Okay, not for everybody. I thought it was very creepy. I thought it was well filmed. And I'm a big fan of Justin Long's. So Drag Me to Hell, if you're a Sam Raimi, check it out. I'm right on this one. Joe is wrong.
Well, Lance is agreeing with you. Great movie. So,
Drag Me to Hell? Okay.
But Lance likes every movie. So,
No. I think you have much more discerning taste than that, Lance. So, bravo. Drag Me to Hell was pretty good. See? Sean agrees with me. Now, the very last movie that I'm going to torture you guys with holds a very special place in my heart. It was directed by a fellow named Martin Davidson, and it starred the late, great John Ritter and Ann Archer, and it was a precursor to the superhero movies of the mid-'80s, and it was a great film. And you know why I liked it so much, Joe? Do you have any idea why?
I'm trying to figure out why you liked it so much, but I know the film you're referring to. At least I think I do.
The film is called, I'm sorry, it's called Hero at Large.
Yes, that's...
Okay. Hero at Large with John Ritter and Ann Archer. And Joe, the reason why I like this film so much is because when John Ritter shows up at the movie theater, in the movie, he's an actor playing a superhero. And when he shows up to the movie theater in this movie as the superhero, he runs into a little boy who asks for his autograph. And that little boy was the yours truly, Dave.
You?
Yeah. My very first screen appearance. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is very cool. Was there a grocery store scene?
Yeah, he walks in on a robbery. It's a fun movie, it really is. And John Ritter is absolutely brilliant.
Now, refresh my memory. Was that a made-for-TV movie, or was that an actual theatrical?
No, that was John Ritter's very, very first wide-scale theatrical release. It was probably even a top 10 movie at the time. So, yes, if you go back and you watch Hero at Large, outside the Elmwood Theater in Middle Village, Queens, is where they shot it, and John Ritter's character is outside as dressed up in his superhero costume, signing autographs to all the little kids. And the little schmuck who asks him for his autograph is this big schmuck you see before you know.
Damn, I knew this. All these people didn't know this? I mean, people that I expected to know this didn't know this.
Oh, okay. It's funny, because I was doing... You guys are talking about Bizarre AC in the last show. And I was a guest at Bizarre AC, actually both of them. And at Bizarre AC, Brian O'Halloran was sitting to my right or left, and he saw that my eyes had welled up a little bit. I was touched by something. And he goes, "Yeah, dude, what's the matter?" I go, "Somebody just had me sign a copy of Hero at Large." And I was like, somebody knew that I was in that movie. It's kind of psychedelic. So, be that as it may. Is Mr. Schiaffo in the green room?
Yes, sir. Mr. Schiaffo is here.
Hey!
Mr. Schiaffo, how are you, my dear friend?
Doing well there, Mr. Madison. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Excellent, thank you.
As you know, we have the great Andrew Anderson on tonight, a fine actor and a legendary professional wrestler. You guys worked on a film together. I want to know, Scott, would you like to sit in on the interview? Or would you like to come in towards the end? What do you think?
I think I'll sit in. That would be great, because I do know we call him. On the set he was Drew, so I'm going to call him Drew. I mean, it's going back a while, but this little nugget here, but I'll send you a picture later.
Nah, pull that back up, Scott. Yeah, there's a little bit of a glare. All right.
Yeah, there's a killer glare.
What is
Girls' night out.
girls' night?
Joe, I sent you the JPEG in a messenger.
All right. I will definitely get on
Yeah,
to
I
that.
thought maybe for later. But that was the first, I'm pretty sure it's the first film Drew did. And he got the bug. And it was a funny story. He and I are never on camera at the same time. And I'm going to tease that for a while before I say why.
Well, without further ado, is Mr. Anderson in the green room?
Mr. Anderson, give me a thumbs up if you are. He is available.
Okay. Without further ado, our guest tonight comes from a legendary wrestling family. He's just a great professional wrestler, a great entertainer, and a great all-around guy, Mr. Andrew Anderson.
What up, people? How are you guys doing? Scott, I love you to death, man. I love you to death.
I love you, brother.
Bro,
It's the man here.
It's been a long time. Me and you had a blast. And
That's right.
The fact that your werewolf almost got me killed was one of a fucking planet. I just got done beating up Captain Stubing, a guy doing a wrestling gimmick as a Love Boat captain. I got done with the match. I got in the car. I had a few. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a few cocktails before I got on the show because Maury, a friend of mine from the WWE, was in the locker room. So we wound up hitting the bar beforehand, and we did a few cocktails, and we got out, and I got home, and I'm okay, and here we are. And I said I got to do David Madison's show because Dave's dependent on me, and here we are. And Scott, Lord knows, I owe you and Mike Russin the bug.
I'll tell you, brother, you did a hell of a job in the film, and you did get the bug, and you took it really seriously, and you were top notch all the way. It was a really wonderful experience. And then we got to come see you wrestle a lot before, like while we were filming, when we got to know you. Mike Russin and I were popping in on a lot of your matches. And that, I mean, I grew up with Mil Mascaris and that kind of thing a million years ago. I had never seen anything live until I met you, and it was a mind blower.
And you got to see Ricky Steamboat ref a match between Jimmy Snuka and the Metal Maniac.
It was, yeah, that was amazing. I was just, my jaw was on the floor watching what you were doing in the ring, and I just kept nudging Mike. I said, I can't believe this guy's going to be in the movie.
We had a good time, and the bottom line was this: you and Mike Russin both nursemaided me through the whole film. I was very nervous. I was very scared. The worst part for me was the contacts, putting contacts in. So I was not. I'm nearsighted, and to have contacts put in, I could have wore contacts my whole life, but I never did because I was afraid to put things in my eyes.
Right.
And Charlie Schumacher was the Charlie Shoe. We called him Charlie Shoe.
Right.
The makeup guy during the whole thing, and he was very, very, very cooperative with me, and he put the contacts in the makeup department, and he designed the makeup mask, the werewolf getup that I did, and you'll describe everything that's going on, but Scott, I got to tell you, man, you have become a friend of mine over the past 20 fucking years, right?
It's at least that, right? Yeah, I can't believe how much time.
And I got to tell you, every time I see Mike, I get tears in my eyes. And as emotional as it is, when I see Mike at a convention, I get tears in my eyes. Because this guy took an unknown wrestler and put him on a platform. He gave me a platform to do something that I have never done before. And all of a sudden, before you know it, I'm doing Super Bowl Skittles commercials. I'm doing Super Bowl Doritos commercials. I'm doing Skittles commercials. I'm doing pharmaceutical commercials. I'm in fucking various TV programs. I'm on Gotham. I'm on Sneaky Pete. I'm on FBI's Most Wanted. I'm doing all this stuff, and it's because of you and Mike Russin. And that's the bottom line. That's the truth.
I'll tell you, Drew, we knew that you were going to take it seriously, and that you were going to go somewhere with it, because it wasn't just some goofy fun gig. You really respected the whole process. And I was so happy when I found out about your involvement in The Wrestler, because Mickey Rourke's one of my personal favorites, and there you are in many scenes with him. It was the greatest thing to have seen that. Look, there he is.
That's what my buddy Paulie Normus, like the guy with the tattoos around his collar. That was my student, one of my students, Paulie Normus, and he passed away before the film was released. 3 days before its debut, he passed away. He was a good one, and that's always been a hard scene to look at. And I did my scenes with Paul, and I did a lot of scenes with Mickey, and the blade that cut Mickey's forehead was actually my hand making that blade in that scene. And Mickey was a great guy, man. I mean, Darren Aronofsky, God, the guy really, he let me go. Dude, funny story. Scott, David, I am in the toilet pissing next to a guy. I had no idea it was Darren Aronofsky. I'm taking a leak. Here I am, a cocky wrestler, taking a leak. And right next to me is Darren. Darren looks over at me, goes, kid, you're going to be something. I said, excuse me? He goes, you're going to be something in the business. I said, wrestling business or acting? He goes, acting. And I said, okay. And he looks at me and goes, I'm the director. I said, oh, okay. I said, so now I saw it, like, I'm like flabbergasted. Like, this guy does not look like he's the director of a major motion picture with Mickey Rourke in it. Originally, it was supposed to have Mickey Rourke's character was supposed to be played by what's his name? Who was supposed to play Mickey Rourke's character?
I know there was a lot of stories attached to that. Now I'm zoning out on it too. But Mickey was not.
It was he was original character. It was Nicolas Cage.
Right.
To an audition. I'm auditioning for a Nick Cage film, and I was like, the Nicolas Cage, and they were like, yeah, Nicolas Cage. I was like, all right, that's cool. So I went and auditioned, and it was a Mickey Rourke film, and to be there with Mickey Rourke in a locker room and do all these scenes with him, and he was so down to earth, and it's like, you see in the business, you see at one hand, you see the Hollywood aspect that you're dealing with personalities that are larger than life, over the top. It's not unlike the wrestling business, but it's different. It's more subtle. The Hollywood atmosphere is more subtle than the wrestling business. The wrestling business, we live like rock stars. Okay, we tear apart our hotel rooms. We rib each other. We torment each other in the locker room. One guy shits in another guy's gym bag. Another guy freaking blows up another guy's gym bag. We lock each other out of hotel rooms and do things like that. But in the Hollywood business, it's different. It's more of an what would I say? It's a bit more respectful than the wrestling business. The wrestling business. Let me put it this way: the wrestling business, it's a pecking order, and I'm sure it is in Hollywood too. But when I was there with Mickey and hanging out with him and talking to him, he was one of the boys. He became a wrestler. He literally did improv. He became a pro wrestler. He became an indie wrestler. He became one of us. And it was more acceptable that it's not a guy who was in Angel Heart or who was in Prince of the City. It wasn't Mickey Rourke. It was another guy trying to make it in the business, break into the wrestling business, and do what he had to do to get there. So if he had that camaraderie with all the boys in the locker room, so that was what separated everything. And then
it was also sorry. It was also cool. I just had a thought because you're talking about Mickey Rourke, and what was really cool about Mickey Rourke also is that he was, before the wrestler, he was actually a professional boxer. As
was I. I was also a boxer. I boxed before I become pro wrestler. I did MMA and boxing, and that's where our common ground was in the boxing industry. So the discussions I had with Mickey were about how difficult it was to transition from pro wrestling, from boxing to pro wrestling. For me, it was a lot easier because I had Jimmy Snuka as my trainer. I had the Metal Maniac as my trainer. I had Gino Caruso as my trainer, Mr. Italy. But Mickey, on the other hand, got thrown right into the mix with Alpha and WXW, World Extreme Wrestling, and the Wild Samoans, training him to bump and take bumps. And he was a guy who was taught not to leave his feet, as was I originally in my career. We were taught not to leave our feet. All of a sudden, we're leaving our feet, and we're doing things that a spectacular bump is the way to do it. And Mickey was great. He was in the ring, performing like a champ. I'm telling you. I mean, you can't. He took because of his boxing ability. I think that he made it that much more believable as a pro wrestler than the normal average Joe would have.
Yeah,
the genuineness between the characters and the genuineness that's pouring off of everybody in that film is palpable. You don't see anybody acting. It's like a reality movie.
My scenes with him were, they gave me a script, and Darren gave me a script, and the AD gave me a script, and they said, "This is what we want you to do. This is what we want you to say." And I went ahead, and I did what they wanted me to do, but it was very, very. It wasn't. What would the word be? It wasn't.
Etched in stone.
Yeah. Well, no, not that it was etched in stone. It wasn't. God, I can't think of the word.
Improv?
No, it wasn't even improv. It was just. It wasn't right. The scene that they gave me, the script they gave me, wasn't right. So I went ahead and I ad-libbed it, sort of. I said, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, that, and we're going to do it old school. Bring it in old school. Bring you back in the ring old school, and go through and do it." It wasn't. I'm having a major brain fart here, but the bottom line was we did it my way, and Darren accepted it, and Darren did it, and Darren said we got it in 2 takes, and my scenes were done, and then all of a sudden they added another scene where Mickey and I were hugging and everything and high-fiving in the locker room. That was just great to me. I mean, I got the extra screen time out of it, but it wasn't organic. Organic was the word I'm looking for. It wasn't organic. The scene that they originally had written into wasn't very organic. It wasn't natural. It sounded too made up. And then I came up with the line, okay, we'll do this. I'll bring you in the ring the hard way, and then we'll do it, blah, 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 bada bing, boom, boom, boom. And then we did it. And that's how it came out. And it was, I remember Jim Powers from the WWE's Young Lions was supposed to be my tag team partner or my opponent in the match. It was me and Paul Enormous against Papa Don and Jim Powers. Jim Powers had a difficulty with the AD at the time, and he got up and walked off set. So Jimmy Powers was never actually in the film. I think he got a credit, but he was never in the film. And our tag match was never filmed. I had a singles match against a guy named Brawley. My knee was torn. I had a torn ACL and a torn meniscus, and I wrestled against this kid Brawley, who is a great guy, great friend of mine. He's a gear maker now. He makes all wrestling gear, and he's a great dude. And I worked with him on the set of the film. But because my knee was so torn up, we couldn't really use any of the footage. And Darren came up to me and said, "Listen, I wanted to include a lot of your footage in the movie, but I couldn't." He said, "Because you looked like you were really limping, and I wanted to make you look the best we could possibly make you look." And he did. The scenes with Mickey alone, he used them all. And he was a man of his word. And I got to tell you,
the stuff with you guys behind the scenes and in the locker room was priceless. It was probably far better than what was in the ring. But the stuff in the locker room was everything, because the banter and the camaraderie was so genuine.
It was organic, Scott. It was organic. It was like in the movie that we did with Creepy Tales. Everything was just. It came down to we worked together, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, now working with Mike and working with Charlie Shue and working with you and the girls in the film, it was a fun time. I mean, I didn't know what to make of a movie set. I've never been on a movie set at that point. I mean, I was scared shitless to put it mildly. I was out of my element. My element is beating people up and getting paid for it. And here all of a sudden, and I'm in the ring with, I'm in the ring. I'm in the movie under the cameras with the kid from Clerks. All right. Here I am. I'm looking at you, and I'm like in awe. I'm like, this guy was in a movie with freaking. Oh my God, this guy! I watched you in the movies. I sat in the movie theater and watched Clerks, and here I am with you in a movie, and here I am. So I was starstruck. But you know what? The wrestler in me, Scott, I never let you know it.
No, you were the best, brother, and I had nothing but respect for you. And you had such energy, and you wanted to understand the process so badly that Michael and I knew that you weren't just going to come on and wing it in any kind of way. Like, it meant a lot to you, and that, it meant a lot to us. Let me quickly explain what happens in the film. There's 3 short stories, and one of the stories is a werewolf story. I play Ronald McGrail, and when Ronald McGrail turns into the werewolf, that's Drew in makeup and costumes and doing crazy stunts and doing all the real hard stuff and jumping off of roofs and chasing the women and causing havoc. But that's the box cover. Obviously, it doesn't look much like a horror film. It almost looks like a melodrama. But so Drew is my character as the werewolf, and you killed it. You killed it.
Rigno to your Bill Bixby.
Right, exactly. That was the deal. But then, you know what? In just a few short years, we blink, and all of a sudden, you're going to be on screen with Mickey Rourke. I couldn't have been more happy for you than, to this day, that's one of the proudest things I could say.
I remember doing a Chiller Theater with you. You got me. I was always a fan of Chiller Theater. All of a sudden, I was there at Chiller Theater as a guest because of you and Mike and you pushing Creepy Tales. And me sitting there and signing autographs, signing the DVD. And to me, that was like, that was like, at the time, that was my Life Achievement Award. I couldn't have asked for anything more. You guys made me feel so welcome. And I'll always love you and owe you for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as a friend, as a brother, as a fellow actor, I mean, hell, I always say to Mike, when I talk to Mike Russo, and I said, Mike, I'm your abortion. For better or for worse, I'm your abortion. David Madison, for better or for worse, I am Mike Russin and Scott Schiaffo's abortion. Right?
They could have done a lot worse.
Oh, well, I got to go to the Oscars. I mean, it was a good fucking feeling, man. I mean, look, I didn't walk down the red carpet, but I was there filling somebody's seat. And it was because of the fact of the wrestler. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was really cool. I mean, hell, to see myself on the big screen on the Oscars, getting my scene in the front of Robert De Niro and Sean Penn, who won the award for Milk, and seeing all these actors and actresses from Meryl Streep to everybody else, watching me on screen say, we're going to do this old school, blah, 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 bada bing, whatever you want to call it. And there I am included in that trailer for The Wrestler. And it was, to me, that was beyond priceless. So that was the highlight of my career. The other highlight of my career, I will say, I know we're not supposed to talk that much about wrestling, but was my 2019 Men's Wrestling Award at the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion in Las Vegas, where I got the 2019 Men's Wrestling Award alongside the legendary Dory Funk Jr., who got a Lifetime Achievement Award, the Barbarian and Barbarian and Ming, who got the Faces of Fear, got the Tag Team Award. It was just one of the greatest moments of my life, and I owe it all, without a doubt. Evan Ginsberg, one of the senior producers of The Wrestler, Darren Aronofsky, the director of The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke, Marissa Tomei. I love them. Love you guys. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Scott and if it wasn't for Mike.
Let me ask you something about the wrestler. Was Mickey Rourke's character loosely based on any real professional wrestler?
Yes. He was loosely based on Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Sweet. It's
Yep.
funny. Not many people know this about me, but when I was a real young man, I had a family member who did wrestling promotion in the Long Island Arena in Long Island, New York, back in the late 70s.
Yep.
And at my house regularly was all the great wrestlers of that time. Dominic DiNucci, Rocky Johnson came with his son Dwayne, who turned out to be The Rock. We actually used to go to I forget that steakhouse where you used to be able to throw the peanuts on the ground.
Rustler?
Ground. I think it was Ground Round.
Was it Ground Round or
I think it
Rustler?
was Ground Round.
Round. We
Yeah.
we actually used to call it the Brown Mound because my friend hooked up with a girl who had a full blown bush, and at the time he called it the Brown Mound. So
And back then, it was like Dominic DiNucci and Tony Gurria and Pat Patterson and all these wonderful wrestlers. Andrew, tell me a little bit about what wrestlers when you were. I mean, we're going to talk about your acting careers because you are such a wonderful performer, but you're also a wonderful professional wrestler. And tell us a little bit about when you were growing up, a young man. What professional wrestlers did you idolize, and ones that you later would either work with or would like to become, like as a professional?
Well, it's kind of ironic. I got to tell you, honestly, I was a kid. I went to Catholic school. I went to St. John the Baptist Grammar School in Fairview, New Jersey. And I used to walk home back then when you were able to walk home without, fear of your life. We walked home, and I remember walking up somebody's house and one of my friends seeing in twine being rope tying up magazines for recycling, because they actually did recycle paper back then in the late 70s. And I remember it was like 1976, 77, looking up at this magazine that one of my buddies pulled out, and it was The Wrestler. The magazine was called The Wrestler, Inside Wrestling.
Pro Wrestler, yeah.
Yeah, and he pulled it up, and on the cover was this face covered in blood of superstar Billy Graham. I had no idea who the hell superstar Billy Graham was, but I said, this guy has a physique like a Greek god, like a hero. And I was a big Marvel fan. I love DC. My first comic I ever got in my life was the Legion of Superheroes, but I became a Marvel fanatic. I loved Captain America, and I loved the Avengers. I loved the X-Men. I loved Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk. But wasn't that big of a Spider-Man fan until later on. But I remember seeing superstar Billy Graham bleeding, and it was Bruno Sammartino beating him up. And I had to find out what the fuck. Can I say that?
Yes, absolutely.
What the fuck was this about, that somebody is bleeding all over the fucking place and in a magazine, and what the hell is going on here? Well, I found out what the hell is going on here because a few weeks later, we were doing it. Me and my friend John Palmisano were doing a science project where we were making a castle for a Catholic school science project, a castle out of sugar cubes. And I just remember the next day, we're building this castle with sugar cubes. They put it out in the school. The next day, everybody's doing this science project, this history project. And our castle is covered with fucking black ants eating the sugar on this castle. And it would look like the plague of zombies. The castle was infiltrated with black ants eating it. And but John, the night we were building that castle, we put on UHF TV, which was on the second dial, not the original dial, which had channel 2, 7, 11, 13, and that was it. We went to 46. And 47 and 41, and it was 41, channel 41,
Yes.
that had Lucha Libre from it was like Lucha Libre, and it was like from Los Angeles, California. And I remember just hearing the old ring announcer, and he was saying it was from channel 41, Lucha Libre, which is pro wrestling in Spanish, and The first wrestler I ever saw was a guy come out with a robe. His name was Greg the Hammer Valentine. It wasn't even called the Hammer at the time. He was called Greg Valentine. And he put this guy, Joe Turco. I'll never forget the guy's name. He put the guy, Joe Turco. He killed him. Absolutely slaughtered this son of a bitch. And he put him in a figure 4 leg lock and made the guy submit.
I remember when I was a kid, Greg the Hammer Valentine had the greatest battles with Chief J Strongbow.
Chief J Strongbow.
Unbelievable.
He broke Chief J Strongbow's leg. And before that, he broke Wahoo McDaniel's leg.
Yep.
In the NWA. Now, Greg would wind up becoming one of my best friends. How ironic is that? He would become like a dad. My 3 dads in pro wrestling wound up being Greg the Hammer Valentine, who wound up teaching me how to go out and make money. Kevin Sullivan, who put me on the map. And then you had Jimmy Superfly Snuka, who was my dad, my pops, who trained me, taught me how to, from a headlock on. You know, him and Gino Caruso, the Metal Maniac and the Kodiak Bear, taught me how to work. Greg the Hammer taught me how to make money. Kevin Sullivan taught me how to get my ass out there.
I remember those magazines. Every month I was super excited they came out because the centerfold, if you recall, was the top 10 rankings for the WWF, the NWA,
and the AWA.
And the AWA. Nick Bockwinkel, Bob Backlund, and Harley Race on the top usually. And
the only one who varied was the NWA. The NWA went from Harley Race, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
They made it more of a realistic game. AWA kept Bockwinkel, and the WWE kept Bob Backlund on top for a long time. You know, so they used that old formula, which I think the NWA's formula was a lot better than the WWE and the AWA's formula. But who's to say now? Now I wish we had AWA. I wish we had WWF, Worldwide Wrestling Federation, rather than the WWE and AEW and the flip-floppers and the guys who can't fucking tell a story without doing 20 fucking flips. So you can tell them a little bitter about that. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not a flipper, you know, but I'm also fucking 50 years old, and I'm set in my ways, so to speak. But you know what? It's like grandpa telling the kids, get off my lawn. You know?
With that being said, in our green room, Andrew, pop culture icon, a living legend, a pal of this show, and a dear friend of all of ours, Joe, is he ready to come on?
Mr. O'Halloran, thumbs up.
What's going on, buddy?
This is Joe Ridgely, our producer.
How are you, Rich?
Doing all right, brother?
Yeah. Is
Absolutely.
Is Brian
Thank you.
ready to rock and roll?
He is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian O'Halloran.
What's up, people?
What's going on, Brian? How are you, buddy?
Good to see you, Mr. Anderson.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for the kind words you spoke earlier in the interview about Clerks and being a part of this craziness.
If it wasn't for your craziness, I wouldn't be in the business.
So, Andrew, tell us a little bit about, after you did The Wrestler, which is a great film.
Yep.
You started to appear in some other things. Tell us how you got involved with Gotham.
Well, what happened was this. I hit a slump before The Wrestler. I tore my knee. I tore my ACL, my meniscus. I had my daughter, who's now 15 years old, my daughter Hope, and I was jaded with the wrestling business. I didn't want to do it. I wound up doing The Wrestler. It pumped me up. It made me feel great. I went and did all these phenomenal things, production wise, for The Wrestler. Everybody wanted to talk to me. Magazine covers. Everything from the Bergen Record in Bergen County to the Daily News to the New York Post. I was in everything. And all of a sudden now I get calls from agencies to represent me. I got grandfathered in the Screen Actors Guild. So I wound up doing a Super Bowl commercial, a Doritos Super Bowl commercial, which was Powerbomb. I think it was called Powerbomb 3 or Powerbomb 2 with a WWE referee, played the dad, did the stunts for the dad, Kevin Keenan. I did that. I did a Skittles commercial because of that. I got called in for a Skittles commercial. I did a bunch of pharmaceutical commercials. Yeah, that's funny because I'm putting the Skittles bag in the Steiner recliner, but I never flex the rainbow. If you look at the Japanese version of the commercial itself, I do a frog splash on it where the rainbow pops out from the sides of the bag. If you look at the American commercial, I put it in a camel clutch, which is basically Steiner recliner. And if you look at the print ad, I have it in a backbreaker a la Lex Luger torture rack. So there were a lot of different versions of Don't Suplex the Rainbow. The greatest one was when I filmed this commercial, everybody was like, he's not doing shit. He's not doing nothing. All of a sudden, they go to the shopping malls across the country, and there's the rotating the video signs that they have. And there's me with the kid in the torture rack. Not the kid, the Skittles bag in the torture rack going back and forth. Don't suplex the rainbow, taste the rainbow. So as I do it, don't suplex the rainbow, taste the rainbow. So I would wind up doing that. And then we tried to duplicate the same thing with the Doritos Super Bowl commercial with "It's crunch time, baby," where I got the guy in the I powerbombed Dad, which I got in one take. We only have 2 coffee tables. It's either you do it once or twice. That's it. That's all you get. I powerbombed the dad through the coffee table, and I go, and then he's reaching for the bag of Doritos. He's out there reaching for the bag, and I have him in a rear chin lock on the mat, and he's reaching for it, going, and I'm going, "It's crunch time, baby," and that's how it ends. And then the little girl drops the elbow on the dad. Well, I have him in a headlock, and it's pretty cool. But all that stuff, the pharmaceutical commercial, I'm dressed as a luchador. Which, if you don't know what a luchador is, it's a Spanish version of a pro wrestler. I got the mask on, like Mil Mascaras, and I'm playing a violin in an orchestra, and it was pretty cool because you see it was very elegant, actually, if you really ask about the print ad, because there's a scene with the notes on the floor, the paper written notes on the floor, and the next scene is me playing the violin with 2 girls playing a cello, one person playing the flute, and it was really cool. And then the other one has me standing there holding the violin. And what happened was my oldest daughter, Olivia, was on the set. So we took a picture, and it went viral, of me in the mask holding the violin, but the violin bow across my daughter's throat. And all of a sudden, everyone was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" It was like the horror movie aspect of it, of me cutting the kid's throat. Nobody realized that was my daughter until I posted that was my daughter, and it was like it went viral in 2010. It went nuts, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" And it was like the pharmaceutical commercial couldn't post those pictures. It told me, "Take them down. We can't. We're doing this." It was a cold crisp pharmaceutical commercial for a gout medication. So of all things, I got told to turn it down by gout medication, but you know what? They paid me handsomely, and it was great, and it was a lot of fun. And the bottom line is this: I also do speaking engagements now, as a wrestler, as an actor, as a performer, as a dad, as a father, as just a general human being, called Grab a Hold, where grab a hold in wrestling, if you get lost in the ring, you grab a hold. You grab a hold and you hold on to that hold until you realize where you're at. You grab your bearings, your opponent grabs your bearings, and you can continue with the match. Well, I do a speaking engagement called Grab a Hold. Grab a hold in life, because you grab a hold in life because you never know. It means live life to your fullest. Live your dreams. Scott, you've done it. I've done it. David, you've done it. I've done it. And you go ahead, you live your dreams, but sometimes your dreams fall short of your expectations, and you may not achieve all the things that you wanted to do in life, but you grab a hold of that. You grab a hold of life, and you go out and get yourself an education. You have something to fall back on. And what I want is for all those kids that have dreams and aspirations of greatness to have something to fall back on, to have something to grab a hold on, and have something to make a career on, and to be able to support themselves and their families and do things the right way. Because sometimes your dreams are wonderful. Dreaming is wonderful. And my friend, a director, J.D. Glasscock, out of Texas, who was originally from L.A., he will tell you. He does a podcast called Dreamers, a Stone Crow Dreamers, and he's great. He tries to support guys for living their dream, but sometimes your dreams fall short of their expectations. So you have to grab a hold. And education is the most important thing, because with an education you can do anything. The sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
Society, and that's the most important thing. And that's the thing I try to stress to you guys is education. And if you're an actor, if you're an entertainer, if you're a musician, if you're a poet, you can be all that but more. But use your education. And in some cases I fall short because I've been dropped on my head for the last 26 years, and there were times where I didn't use it. But I made a choice in life to do what I've been doing, and I also made the commitment. And Scott knows this, and I've said this to him, and I said this to Mike Russin, and I said this to Neil Haig. I said Neil's last name, Hegligans. I said to them, if I can't make a life financially from pro wrestling, I will make a financial life because of pro wrestling. And because of pro wrestling, I got into the acting business. So during COVID, when COVID hit, my shows were canceled from November 14th, 2020 on. My shows were all canceled. Conventions, autograph signings, appearances, all canceled. I thought it was the end of the fucking world. I said to God, I'm not a religious person. I went to Catholic school, but I'm not a religious person. I said, God, help me. What the fuck am I going to do? And before I know it, I opened up my mailbox, and there was a check from Warner Brothers and the Screen Actors Guild for Skittles, for Doritos, for Gotham, for Sneaky Pete. And I grabbed the hold without even realizing it. And that was the most incredible thing. It wasn't so much that God answered my prayers, but Warner Brothers answered my prayers. You gotta look at it that way, man. And it's just, the bottom line is this: hell, it was something that I didn't calculate into the equation. And you know what? It's called grabbing hold. And I want each and every one of these people watching this who want to do what they want to do. They can do what they want to do, but grab a hold. Have that backup plan. It's all about a backup plan. It's all about a contingency plan. Scott, you do very well for yourself in life. You don't only live off the acting income. You do things. Mike was a manager at Mike Russin was a manager, I think, at A&P. At A&P?
Yeah, Acme, A&P, Pat Markey. He's been through them all.
Yeah, he did what he had to do to keep his family afloat. Mike has become one of my best friends on the planet. Every time I see Mike, I get tears in my eyes. And that's from the bottom of my heart, getting emotional, because he created the sponsor, and it's the truth. And it's life.
Oh, God, if you would have only saw what we saw at the time, you wanted it. You had so much passion. You wanted it so badly, and you put in the hard work. And I even said to Mike, I said, he's going to stick with this, and we're going to see him continue to build within the acting career. And then we blink, and then all of a sudden you're sharing the screen with Mickey Rourke.
It was amazing, right?
Mind-blowing.
It was mind-blowing.
And with that being said, Andrew, you wrestled tonight, and you had the class and dignity to still do my show, even after having a tough match tonight. I want to thank you for being such a great friend and a great dude. B, for just being such a caring person. People could see how passionate you are about acting, about wrestling, about everything you do. Your message is wonderful. Thank you again for joining us tonight. And before we have you sign off, can you let everybody know where they could find you on social media and any of your upcoming events or films that are coming up?
Well, tonight I was with my friend Enzo Amore from the WWE. He actually put up on his Twitter account my finisher of my match, where I pinned the guy. The guy who looked like Captain Stubing. That guy had a captain gimmick, and I don't know what to do. So I came out, grabbed the microphone, and started singing "The Love Boat," promising something for everyone, or whatever I said. I think I said promising that the captain will have the runs or something like that. But I want him singing that to him, and I want to give a shout out to my dear friend, one of my best friends on the planet, Ace Frehley, formerly of Kiss, and I'm so proud of him on his sobriety and almost 14 years sober, and his albums have just charted higher than Kiss has in the past few years, and he's a really good friend of mine. And I want to also look at Andrew the Reinforcer is my Twitter account. I have a fan page, Andrew the Reinforcer Anderson. I also have a regular Instagram page of Drew the Twitter page of Drew the Wrestler. Instagram is Andrew the Reinforcer. And then you can always look up me as Andrew Anderson on Facebook. I'm more on Facebook than I am on Twitter or Instagram, but you know, I mean, I couldn't have done the things I've done without the friends that I've had and the family that I've accumulated over the past few years. And you know, Scott Schiaffo and Mike Russin and even you, David Madison. Dave, you put me on the map. You didn't know me from Adam at the time, and you put me on your show initially. I mean, this before Zoom and everything else, and before we had all these COVID podcasts that we're doing now. You went out on a limb and met me at Chiller and all the other conventions, Monster Mania and everything out, and we bonded, and it's really cool to be friends. I mean, we have what I call our Chiller family, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and
or Con family.
A Con family, yeah. From Chiller to Monster Mania to the New York Comic Con to the San Diego Comic Con, we've all bonded together, and we've all been in the same boat. And the COVID nightmare has impacted everybody. I mean, there's very limited acting stuff available within the realms of safety and self-consciousness and awareness of what's going around us. And then you have the political left and right and everything else, and we're as actors, we're caught in limbo because we can't comment neither way because we will be blackballed, you know. So that leaves us without an opinion because we have to be compliant to everybody else. So I mean, so it's difficult. It's a difficult situation that we're in. And I want to thank you guys for giving me the platform to come out here tonight. And I want to thank Captain Stubing, who I beat up. I beat him up in the ring tonight. I felt bad for the poor bastard, but I said to him, I said, listen, I got to get out. And then before I know it, I'm at the bar down in shots of Jack Daniels with Enzo Amore, who I haven't seen in for fucking ever. You know, and then I'm like, listen, I got to get back. I got to do David Madison's podcast. And, we're here doing the podcast, and I want to thank you guys, man. I mean, it was a good time. And Scott, you know, and this is from the bottom of my heart, I love you.
I love you, brother.
Everybody loves Scott. He's a great guy.
As a brother and as a friend, I love you, and I love Mike Russin. And Charlie Shue, you know, for all, I don't know whether you guys work together or not. I know you're still close with Mike. I don't know what the deal is with Charlie, the makeup artist at the thing, but you guys are an important part of my life and part of my friendship. And I appreciate you guys, and I want to thank you guys. You guys created this monster, this abortion, and hopefully I'll roll with it. We'll get more stuff going on in 2021. I just auditioned for some stuff for Showtime and some stuff for HBO. Hopefully, I threw enough shit to the wall and something will stick. How's that?
That's right, brother.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Andrew. Thank you for being a part of the Romero Pictures Indie Brigade family now. And anytime you have anything you need to promote, or if you just want to come on and say hi, drop me a line, and we would love to have you on again.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Be well, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, what a great guy.
Sweetheart.
And that's a wonderful message. What do you think, Mr. Ridgely?
I think Dead Air sucks, and you guys are a whole lot more popular than I am.
Well, there you go.
You crazy now.
I assure you, we're hardly household names in our own households. Mr. O'Halloran!
What's up, sir?
How are you? Wonderful show tonight.
Well, thank you. Had a fantastic guest. So with a fantastic guest, it's always a good show.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. I apologize because I missed it. I saw the ad for the mystery guest. I didn't get to see it. Please.
Oh, it's my one and only beloved Diane, my girlfriend of 27 years, was my guest, and we went through a series of things. She's an actress. She's a fragrance nut. She's also, though, an amazing animal champion. So we had her on tonight. It was a lot of fun. It's usually kind of odd having your partner like right with you and like literally just 50 feet away, and you're interviewing them for the rest of the world. But you know what? She had a blast. I had fun with it, and the audience definitely loved it.
No, it was
I know you guys a lot of years now, and I learned a lot of stuff I had no idea about. Your history is really deep and awesome.
Yeah, there's so many projects that we were a part of, but also just so many stories of different things and how we helped each other out. And it's just, it's why we're together.
Now, I know that you two gentlemen have an enormous event coming up in a week or so. What can you
Actually,
tell?
in 12 hours.
Well,
it's 12 hours?
Yeah.
It's tomorrow. My apologies.
Well, no, it's a whole week, but tomorrow is the Clerks virtual experience. It's a free Q&A offered by the good folks at Wizard World Entertainment, the people who run the Wizard World Comic Cons. They're going to have a virtual experience tomorrow, 4 o'clock East Coast time, 1 o'clock West Coast time. Myself, your good man Scott Schiaffo, and Marilyn Gigliotti will be doing the free Q&A tomorrow. And then after that, the whole week leading till next Saturday, you have the opportunity to purchase one-on-one live chats. You can get 8x10s autographs sent to you. And there's also virtual photo ops where they'll put us both on the screen at the same time, and you'll get a photo op that way. Get those orders in by the 26th, because the 27th is when we then take part in all of those virtual ones. And it's not just me, like I said, it's our good man Scott here. We also have Marilyn Gigliotti. And for the one-on-one, recorded, it's not one-on-one chats as much as recorded messages and 8x10s. Jeff Anderson, for the first time ever working with Wizard World, is taking part as well. So the free stuff, which everybody loves free, that's tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And can't beat free, bro. Can't beat it.
Now, let me ask you something. Is this the first time that the four of you are doing an event like this together? Because I know Jeff is very elusive when it comes to conventions. Is this the first time that the four of you are doing a convention together?
Yes. COVID really nut stepped on the plans that were. Would I be not overstating that, Scott, knowing what our future plans were going to be?
No, it was supposed to be a hell of a year with Jeff, and it turned into a big old goose egg because of COVID.
Yeah. And so there was a big gathering going on at GalaxyCon Raleigh that was coming up this past year. That was going to be all of us, Marilyn, Scott, myself. I believe we were going to have Jay and
Jeff Anderson.
Jeff Anderson, like a whole bunch of us. I believe even a few people from Mallrats, like Rooker and
London,
Joey Lauren Adams, and London as well. And once again, we got all kicked in the nuts with COVID.
We had Raleigh, we had Minneapolis, we had somewhere in Kentucky.
Yeah,
and
we had
COVID.
And we're hoping that'll all roll over for this year. But seeing that the weather is not cooperating, these vaccines are not coming out fast enough. It's pushing a lot of things even further along.
Right before the COVID outbreaks happened, you and I, Brian, did an appearance in Wilkes-Barre. And I remember talking to you about how awesome everything for 2020 and 2021 were shaping up with, Jeff being on board doing shows and everything, and with Scott and Marilyn and everybody getting so many gigs. And I'm absolutely heartbroken, and I'm being deadly, honestly sincere for both of you that that's the way that turned out. And I pray that everything gets back to normal so that the fans and you guys could go out and get the rewards and everything you so richly deserve.
And it's not just us. As you heard even Mr. Anderson say, everybody in the con world really had taken a real big hit here. And you're all independent contractors. There's no like, I'm going to go for unemployment. No, because it's a lot of these vendors, especially these pop vendors and these vendors who make handcrafted jewelry and cosplay costumes, and the comic book artists themselves who, depend on commissions like Gus Mauk and a bunch of other people. I mean, these are the type of people who depended on weekend after weekend going to these shows, leaving their families at home to go to these weekend events to generate their income and also meet the fans, obviously, and stuff like that. And then there's the people who work at these convention centers or these hotels, if it's a hotel show, and the rooms that aren't getting bought, and the restaurants that we're not visiting, and the copious amounts of alcohol that we're not drinking. It affects everybody. It affects everything. And that's the film industry. And that's, we've had a whole year of understanding how this is all being affected. And we have certain people taking trips to Cancun who don't care what happened.
The scary part, Brian, is that everything you just said is horrifically true. And there are things that you don't even really think about how it's devastating and affecting people. Like my daughter, who she loves you. You're like, she calls you Uncle Brian. She calls you Uncle Scott. She is missing her entire. You guys know how much she loved school and how much work she put into being
nerd.
Yes. Well, if you remember, Brian, back when she was in 5th grade, somebody called her a try-harder, and she cried to you about being
called try. I'm like, dude, that's a compliment.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And the poor kid's missing her entire senior year, and she can't even visit colleges. She just got her 21st full scholarship.
Nice.
And she's can't even visit colleges to figure out where she wants to dorm or what colleges. And when you really think about how everything that it's affecting us all in horrific ways. And, we just really, really have to hope and pray that this is almost over. Even just to go out and see your friends, just to have you guys over and have a barbecue, or just to go and hang out at my friend Emmett's baseball card and comic book store. Just the stuff that you do with everyday life. I don't want there to be a new normal. I just want normal back.
No, I hear you. I don't want bonus time. I just want time back. And you know what? Your daughter will have to put off her presidential campaign, maybe one more 4-year cycle, but it'll be worth the wait when she runs and wins for president.
Oh, absolutely. I think she's too smart for that job, to be honest with you.
Well, then she could be vice president and be like a Dick Cheney and run things from behind the puppet string.
The puppet master. All right. With that being said, you guys have your big event this week, tomorrow, and next weekend. Brian, is there anything else you would like to say in closing, my dear friend?
Not at all, but except that thank you guys for having me on and Scott as well. Thank you guys for watching my show, for coming over and watching my show, The O'Halloran. I appreciate that. I'm on my 2nd season, and I'm glad to be back. I had talked about it in my first episode that during the 2 months that I was off during the December and January things with craziness going on in the world, I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't bubbling into me. I was too angry to come on the air and try to be funny. Hey, Libby, good to see you as well. She was watching the show as well. And it's great to see that there's a lot of transferring of fandoms from your show to my show and my show to your show, and people are enjoying themselves. And I'm glad I'm back at it. I'm glad to be back joining you guys for my little 2 cents.
You know what? It's funny, Brian. I was talking to Joe beforehand. I did my first end of the night literally like a year ago. A little less than a year ago. I think it was the first week of March. And I think this is around the 40th episode that we've done.
Nice.
And I was looking back, and it's like just been so much fun. Our Halloween show, our Christmas party, and you know what? This is I want to thank you two guys because you know how much you both mean to me. You're my dearest friends. You always have my back, and this community, Lance and Sean and William and Libby and everybody who comes every week to hang out with us during this unbelievably weird time that we're living through, makes this all worthwhile. And I want to thank all of you who watch the show weekly, and I want to thank you two guys for being great friends. And I don't want to get all sentimental like Andrew did, because what are you laughing at, Scott?
I didn't expect him to get that. He really did.
No, I thought that was very.
It was incredibly sweet, and that's why we fell in love with the guy, because he had that genuine humility initially, and he was just so happy to be on a set and learn the craft, and it was really wonderful working with him.
Yep, and that everybody. Oops, sorry, Brian.
I was to say, what, to go on to what your last point about, it's been really good since March and doing what we can do. And it'll be interesting to see how all these type of shows carry on when we're allowed to be out and mingle and stuff. Like, are we going to be like Brooks from Shawshank and be so overwhelmed that we hang ourselves? Brooks was here and here comes our microphone cords like, ugh. I can't take the outside world. I want to go back to my studio.
Well, maybe this show or your show will be, the three of us will be sitting on. Well, yeah,
on the road. Like years ago, we had discussed that.
I know.
I remember one time we were driving out to either Pittsburgh or Altoona. I don't remember what one in particular. And Brian had set up little cameras throughout my entire truck, and I would die to see that. I mean, because we said some really funny
show. Then I'll have you guys on my show, and we'll just do commentary of this. I'll pick up the juiciest bits, and just I have to take out 7 or 8 stops for you to use the bathroom.
Well, yes.
There's a lot of that.
Well, you could sing "Hold Me Closer, Tiny Bladder" again.
Exactly.
Yes. With that being said, Mr. O'Halloran, thank you for coming on. Everybody, check out Brian at Wizard World. Brian, if you want to give one more plug before you sign off.
Sure. Wizard World tomorrow, 4:00. Myself, Scott Schiaffo, Marilyn Gigliotti, a free Q&A through the fine folks at Wizard World Entertainment. Find that at wizardworldvirtual.com. And then all of next week, have the ability to purchase yourself a one-on-one video chat with one of us fine folks. And then 8x10s for sale and also virtual photo ops. That'll be done next Saturday. So visit wizardworldvirtual.com. And we are not the only guests on this roster. Go check out the roster. It's quite a setup.
Absolutely. And hopefully you and I will be doing our first Mets show broadcast soon. So I will reach out to you this week. When you see some of the people I have lined up for guests for this, you're going to actually crap yourself.
Nice.
Have a good time with that. And
we're going to need diapers.
Yes. Free house breaking wee-wee pad with every purchase. Oh, Scott, Brian and I are going to do, we're not sure if we're going to call it yet, Bleeding the Blue and Orange, a show every week about New York Mets fandom, and we're going to have former Mets, current Mets, possibly even the owner on. We're going to have a good time with that.
That's awesome.
Even though I'm on his shit list because I think the Mets have really failed their fan base so far this winter. But this is something we'll save for our show. Brian will be the voice of reason. Everybody will love him. And I'll be the guy that everybody hates because I'll be like, Francisco Lindor sucks. He's Carlos Baeger Part 2. But that's the kind of stuff Met fans could look for when we get around to doing that.
Or
show.
it could be just episode of just us crying.
Yes, which is pretty much just being a Met fan. Good night, Brian.
Good night, brother. Thanks for having me.
Be well. Mr. Schiaffo.
Mr. Madison.
Is there anything you would like to say to our lovely folks out there before we wrap this up?
Just a big old thank you for all the love and support. You heard the plugs all night. We got the big Wizard World thing coming up tomorrow and next week. You guys know where to find me. Reach out. I love you for all the support you've given all my projects. I just feel blessed to be here and to share everything with everybody. So on that note, stay safe, wear that mask, wash your hands, and see you soon.
Be well, Mr. Schiaffo. Mr. Ridgely, are you around, my friend?
I'm very around.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
How was the show tonight? You weren't on very much. Was it something I said?
I didn't have to be.
No, okay. I don't know what that means. So you mean my shows usually suck because you're on for the majority of them?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, well, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Mr. Ridgely, as always, thank you for being...
No, wait a minute. You meant your shows usually suck because I'm on a majority of the time is what I was referring to. I don't know if that got twisted.
I don't know. I'm getting
Okay.
old. Got a big show. Are we doing a show next week? Because I have a really cool guest in mind.
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay. So, everybody, look for us next week. We're going to have a big show. I got a cool guest, a Saturday Night Live alumnus who I have in mind. So, check us out. Joe and George will be on at 9 o'clock. And we all miss George. George, if you're watching, the Indie Brigade loves you, as you know, dearly. And we miss you, so come back. We need you. The brigade needs their big kahuna, their leader, their main cheese, the big boss, the big guy. And that's next week. And if you get a chance, check out on IMDb TV my film, Mr. Hush. Anybody, even if you just put it on your computer and play it in the background and walk away, you'll be doing me a favor. So check out Mr. Hush on IMDb TV. Check out Wits End on Tubi and every major streaming. It's actually moved up to number 21 on Tubi's top 100. So if you can help me get it to the top 20, that'd be pretty epic. So check out Wits End on Tubi. And that's pretty much all this windbag has to say. With that being said, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. And I prove that every week because I get great friends. So be well, everybody, and I'll see you next Friday.